What's going on, San Diego? Great Monday morning to you. A 3-point Monday morning as we get on the air with your midday hang, Annie and Elsten, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3, The Fan. We're all together in our Odyssey studios overlooking sunny Murphy Canyon. So sunny that the shades are drawn. It's just future's so bright, we got to wear shades. Annie Halbrun is here. I'm Craig Elsten with you. Braden Suprenant as well, all together for the next 4 hours. Live local San Diego sports audio entertainment for you. Bridging the gap between Ben and Woods and Gwen and Chris later today.
He draws the foul.
What?
The dad joke of the future's so bright the shades are drawn.
Hey.
On a Monday?
Right away. That was a song when I was a young man.
Sure
The
was.
future's so
Yes.
bright, I gotta wear
Future's
shades.
so bright.
I gotta wear shades. Yep. And that's where we are.
Anybody get any fouls on Friday? Frank get out any fouls?
Frank doesn't know where the sounder is.
He just
but-
let the players play, you know?
Yeah.
Let him settle it on the court.
Yeah, it was a no foul Friday.
Yeah. Well, based on the basketball game I went to on Saturday, there was just a lot of fouls just
He draws the foul.
in random spots. I'll tell you what, there's wanted posters of Tony Padilla out there in Tucson, Arizona after Saturday night's contest.
Yeah?
Yeah. They were rioting in the streets.
Oh, God.
Talk about that later in the show. It's
Okay.
great.
All right. I know
Tony
you
Padilla,
had
wanted man.
you had a very full and fulsome weekend.
Very fulsome.
How was your weekend, Annie?
Good. It was great. It was nice and beautiful weather. Went for a run down by the water yesterday.
How
Good
lovely.
weekend, yeah.
That's awesome. Good to hear. Wonderful. Soccer's played Saturday and won. SDFC played yesterday and won. Great weekend for San Diego sports overall. Not a good weekend for San Diego State Aztecs men's basketball. That's for sure.
UCSD had a big win.
UCSD won by almost 40. They took down Hawaii by 39.
They're rolling.
Yes, they are. 9 straight wins for the mighty Tritons. A lot of good things happening around the sports world that we will discuss. We've got a full show lined up for you today. Coming up in our Padres Deep Dive Hour, Sam Levitt will join us live. He will be on at 11:35 today. Padres at the top of that hour at 12 o'clock will play the Cubs today. We'll bring you that lineup and more as we go through all the Padres news in the 11 a.m. hour. Looking forward, as always, to doing that. We'll bring you the Daily Schilt, of course, all of Mike Schilt's proclamations and commentary from this morning. Also, later on in the program at 1 o'clock, he was there at Dignity Health Sports Park last night, reporting on the scene and reporting on the rumors around the scene. Tony Sanchez from San Diego Punto Football will join us at 1 p.m. We'll get a full match report on everything that happened with SDFC taking down Galaxy 2-0 to kick off their MLS campaign, their MLS existence. They start with 3 points. Thus, this is a 3-point Monday. This is a celebratory Monday. 3 points on the board. Studio audience is fired up.
They're
Well,
fired
we
up for
heard
the
them,
game.
yeah.
winner.
Glad
There.
to see the applause sign works. We had that installed over the weekend. Something else I had to do. Came in early Saturday morning and worked on the applause signs here. Now that's fan fiction. I'm not handy enough. I'd be like, Mike, what do I do? Anyways, so all that coming up on the program. Plus, we've got, of course, the 12 o'clock Sports Fix, all the weekend news, full report on all of our local teams, most of whom were very successful. Mind the Gap will be today's silly game. We've got the hard one to kick off the week. Sorry, that's where the rotation landed. And we'll do Ask Us Anything, of course, to wrap up the show. So, did you watch the match?
I did. Yeah.
Hey! All right. All
Did you
right.
not expect me to?
No,
No, Gary Glenn Ross. We did not.
I did not.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you did. I'm psyched that you did. It's on a different platform. It's on Apple. It's on a weird time, Sunday at 4 o'clock. So I would have gotten it if you waited to see the highlights or whatnot. But I thought first off, it was pretty dang cool to see a sold out Dignity Health Sports Park, to see the beautiful 4K cameras of Apple It felt very, very big league, the entire experience of it. And I thought that San Diego FC looked like they fit right in.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to see how much of a team they look like. I mean, I was kind of expecting them to need a few games to sort of get the feel, or maybe get the gelling of the team together. But they really seemed like they were pretty crisp. I mean, I heard Ben and Woods talking about it the same way as well. They were aggressive. Yes. They, of course, we'll talk about the goals, but to see the San Diego fans who were out there and to have covered the Chargers' existence over there at StubHub when they left San Diego,
yeah,
it was cool to see it in a sense of the passion for the sport and the fact that it was a San Diego team and the way that the fans traveled out there and the way that they got so into it. So for an opening match, I mean, I heard the commentators on Apple TV talking about it during the half, how they were going to have to eat their words, how they didn't expect SDFC to look as good as it did to start the season. And I think that's how a lot of us kind of did, because you know what, it's hard to start a team from nothing and to only have about a month of practices before you get into actual play. But credit to Mikey Varas, who's been on this show many times, and to the organization for giving San Diego fans something exciting to root for.
Yeah, I mean, I asked him on Thursday, right? Like, are you ready to have the points attached to your name? Because when that happens, it comes with a lot of discussion. And listen, soccer, the beautiful game, it's always filled with certain moments of drama, and those moments materialized late, as you would expect them to, especially in a 1-0 away situation where the defending champs, are putting pressure on. But at a critical moment, Annie, when they had made a substitution at forward, they had brought in the young legs of Tomas Angel to replace the veteran Marcus Ingvartsen at center forward, and he broke away. Went right into the middle of the defense at 90 minutes. It was like right at 89 or 90 minutes. Yeah. Did not take the ball into the corner. Took a wild shot. Surrendered possession back to Galaxy. And you were just like, oh, is that the moment of youth? We've seen nothing but this clicked, locked in, connected team for 90 minutes. Is that the impetuous moment that's going to open the door for Galaxy? And what happened instead was 2 minutes later, they got the exact same chance to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They got a breakout ball for counter, and Dreyer fed Angel, and this time Angel held it up. And where I was at O'Brien's, everyone was like, because we were just screaming, run to the corner, run to the corner. And then he holds up at the edge of the 18. You're like, cool, man, draw it up. Boop. Right between two defenders to Dreyer, crossbar down and in. And what a celebratory moment for soccer in San Diego to take it from the champs in their own yard.
And to see Chucky Lozano be the one to be in on those goals, and for Anders Dreyer to have those, as he'll go down in history as the first ever to do that for SDFC. But yeah, they ended the Galaxy's undefeated streak at home. They had not lost at home since October 21st, 2023. Became the second MLS expansion team to win their inaugural match since 2019. So it's really not a thing where expansion teams win right away, because you kind of just don't expect that. You expect them to need a little bit more time. But, all the questions that we had asked to all the soccer people we've had on the show talked about what a big test this would be for them to start their season against the defending champs and against the Galaxy, but how they weren't really going to just take it as a loss before they even play the game, just expect to lose. And you really got the sense that they didn't do that at all. They went out there and they competed.
No, they were the more positive team from the opening whistle. That was what was, I think, the most pleasantly surprising. And in fact, I remember literally like 5 minutes before Galaxy kind of gave us the first goal, and did the thing you see at lower levels of soccer all the time. If you're playing in your weekend game, you see what I call a bink bonk pass, which is you send it too hard off of somebody and it goes bink off their leg. You go, bink bonk, like kind of just falls away. And then if it's a lower level, that person just runs over and gets it as everyone else is like, but in this moment, Chucky Lozano's like, turn, boop, send it right across, straight across to Dreyer. Dreyer crashing in. Ingvartsen brilliantly doesn't step on the ball, doesn't interrupt the flow, lets the ball go right by his foot, because he could probably hear the thundering footsteps of Anders Dreyer coming from his right. Those moments, indelicate moments in an otherwise perfect game, but they can spring from nowhere. But so often, Annie, just like a small flare-up, like they'll die just as quickly, where it's like, oh, here's a thing. No, there wasn't a thing. Oh, no, there wasn't. But in that case, it was, oh, here's a goal. Here's a goal. Holy crap, here's a goal out of nowhere.
I'm not going to lie, a lot of running back and forth, especially first. I do think soccer is an interesting sport to watch.
They were like 3 miles.
They run a lot. Then there's like some pauses and some slowing, and they sort of like just kind of handle the ball a little bit. Then they run again.
Yeah.
Run up and down. So, but then I could see where the excitement came there with the low scoring victory, and the strategy to kind of get those goals in. And like you, I thought that the Galaxy they did look like they were going to get something going there towards the end. The broadcasters got all hyped up about it and said that this is where the SDFC maybe is getting tired and the Galaxy is going to make their play. But look, credit to the Galaxy for being able to keep that scoreless and go ahead and make those shots there late as well.
Yeah, and honestly, like right before that goal happened, I was like thinking about how am I going to come in here on a 0-0 draw that would have been a wonderful result for San Diego FC in their opening match. To take a point from the champions in their home yard in the opening match, that would have been a great result. And I was just like, I could only imagine what it's going to be like when I'm trying to tell you, no, they played really well in this 0-0 game.
Yeah.
They played really, really well. Yeah, this is an aspect of soccer. And I heard the boys in the morning talk about this too. Like, the deeper you get into baseball, the more you can appreciate a really taut game because the pitching is great, because the defense is excellent, because there was a critical runner thrown out, at third base that changed the whole inning or whatever, right? Like the variations of the game. And so it is for soccer, because over time they're running around, they're passing the ball. There's a relentlessness to it, though. The others, if everyone doesn't do the right thing, those passes are going to lead directly to a goal, like instantly. But people are doing the right thing all the time, all the way across the pitch. 20 people and 2 keepers working in synchronous, and because of that, it's always a probing. Oh, can't go here, got to go over there. Okay, let's swing it over there. Oh, a little room over here. Nope, got to bring it back. Okay, now bring it around to the other side. Nope, hang on, we're going to bring it back again and reset. And it's just that probing. But the thing was, SDFC did it. They were the ones going, let's probe left, let's probe middle, let's go to the right, let's send Lozano down the wing, let's try and get a ball over the top to Marcus, let's see if we can bring one down. And Galaxy did a lot of not much, like absorbing it. They were hoping for a counterattack. They didn't get it. And then they've got number 11, Gabriel Peck. That guy was really fast. He would he'd fly down one line, or on the left side, Fagundes 7, he'd fly down the left line. But they never really had anything connect. And, like a couple of chances, you got to get some chances eventually. They had a couple of chances late. But honestly, for 45 minutes, especially the first 45, the thing I was the most impressed with was the SDFC defense was clean, sound. Almost every single time there was an attack or a probe, it was just immediately dispossessed, turned around. And number 6, first player we ever had on the show, love to get him back on, captain of the team, Jeppe Verskov. He's going to be one of these players that, like wine, it'll be an acquired taste, and then once you get it, you're going to be like, wow, I savor what Jeppe Verskov does, because he is, I heard Adrian and Darren say it as I was driving home on their post-game show. He's the drummer of the band. He's setting the tempo. He's the one that's just keeping that tempo right, keeping it going, keeping it rolling, and that's what I felt from SDFC all night. I felt a beat, a heartbeat, a tempo to what they did. Galaxy, they were reacting to the song and trying to find their spot to sing, and they couldn't find it.
Yeah, SDFC definitely didn't look panicked at all. They definitely didn't look like a team that was still trying to find their footing. They look like they had their footing. So now, you got to keep it up, of course. But I think what more could you want from a first match from a new team that's just gotten off the ground in San Diego. And look, here in San Diego, you've got to compete for eyeballs. You've got to keep the foot on the gas. I saw the rumors about them possibly signing De Bruyne. Am I saying his name right?
Yes, you are.
So and that's something I think, like, when you are a new team and you are trying to put your stamp on the city and trying to draw eyeballs away from the other sports or from people going to the beach or from people doing whatever, you've got to kind of come with your best foot forward and keep the foot on the gas. And so looks like, at least for now, that's kind of what we're seeing, and hopefully it can continue throughout the season.
Yeah. We'll talk more to Tony about it. Tony had a tweet and a blue sky from San Diego Punto Football's account saying he had multiple sources around SDFC saying to him yesterday, like, this is getting real. The De Bruyne to San Diego stuff is getting real. Like, it's heading into the final stages. And I had seen over the weekend, Annie, a European report that was to that extent as well, saying, like, things are wrapping up at Man City for KDB. His people are looking around. San Diego FC is by far the most active to sign him. So if this is really going to happen, it's going to put the soccer world on its ear. Not exactly to the level of Messi, but it's like, what's the next?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be huge, right?
It absolutely it would make this an epicenter of the season.
Now, if they got him, he wouldn't come until summer.
June.
Is that right? June,
May or June. Yeah.
So season about halfway over.
Yeah. Once everything wraps in Europe, then there would be, of course, I'm sure, contracts and signings and this and that's, and then a scheduled arrival date, and they would do all of that.
Well, I'm sure Saturday here will be a pretty fun time for anybody that's going over to Snapdragon.
Yeah. I expect it to be a sold-out crowd. It was great to see everyone who traveled up having such a strong impact on the match. It was nice when Apple finally showed them a couple of times. They rarely ever showed what was going on, but it was happening all the time. You could hear it. Just an incredible start for San Diego FC. Honestly, the story of MLS, the story certainly of San Diego sports for the weekend. And, we've been talking about it for over a year, for 13 months in this show, banging the drum. There's a new major league team in town, a new top of class, first division. We're in the big leagues, and this MLS is the big leagues. It sure. Is it the English Premier League? Well, how could it be? We're not in England. It's not La Liga. We're not in Spain. It's not Bundesliga. We're not in Germany. We're in the United States of America, Canada. This is where MLS reigns supreme. It's the top league, and we're in it now. And not only are we in it, beat LA. San Diego just owned LA in their opener, on their cup night, on their banner-raising cup night. Just owned them. Took all 3 points.
Definitely spoiled the party.
Brought it home. 3-point Monday. I would heretofore, like Brandon, on every 3-point Monday. Braden, what did I say? Sorry. Never mind. Foul number 2.
That's a foul, second foul. Gonna foul this dude out in the first hour.
He draws the foul.
Right. Too fired up. I would like in future 3-point Mondays to have De La Soul's 3 is the magic number.
Oh, I didn't get. Yeah, what is that? Oh, that's a song.
That's a song.
Okay.
It's the first song on 3 Feet High and Rising. 3 is the magic number. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's the magic number 3.
Isn't it like from School of Rock?
No, it kind of
or
sounds
Schoolhouse Rock? Sorry, Schoolhouse Rock.
It's not from. Well, yes.
I'm pretty sure that's the song for 3.
Yes.
Is 3 is a magic number.
The beat is the Schoolhouse Rock beat sped up, and given a funky,
backbeat or something.
Yeah,
or
given that twist.
It ripped off Schoolhouse Rock.
Very positively. Yeah, 3 is the magic number. 3. What does it all mean? What it means is SDFC won a match. That's what it means. That's what it means.
They covered the Schoolhouse Rock song.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cover. It is.
That's what Tyler said in the chat.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, and it's wonderful. This is part of my. It was more like college age when that album came out, but nonetheless, part of my childhood. De La Soul. 3 is the magic number. Yes, it is. And that's the first segment of today's show. Went a little long. When we come back, we just gave you all the SDFC news. We'll chat with it more. with Tony Sanchez later in the program at the 1 o'clock hour. Let's get into college hoops when we come back. And for San Diego State, oof.
They had some officiating issues up there.
Oof. Oh, brutal.
Didn't get to watch that game because I was at the Arizona game.
Plus, later in the hour, we need to hear Braden's Tucson trip. I want to get all the details.
All the details.
And I want to know if you got handed your walking papers from Brock when you got off the bus on Sunday night. Now that you have shepherded the Toreros to an 0-7 so far this year. Against two colleges, I might add, that you attended.
That's on him for scheduling those. I told him before ahead of time. I don't know. I think
mojo.
are we playing Grossmont College this weekend? When did the Cathedral Catholic Dons roll into town? We're going to play all my schools.
Just saying. Were you a spy? Would be a question that Brock should have been asking himself.
Yes.
Definitely not.
On the long bus ride home.
It's possible.
Would you,
Since my mom is college friends with their head coach, Chip Hale. Maybe I was.
Was he a spy?
Or maybe is it because Arizona's got all seniors in the lineup and San Diego's got 5 freshmen?
All right, let's take a break. We're back.
We'll find out on Tuesday when they play San Diego State.
Annie and Elsten and Braden underway. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm Michael Jenkins here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Dead Texas is betting the over on Trae Young's assists on the second night of a back-to-back. Trae Young has dished out 14, 13, and 14 dimes in his last 3 games, and the Heat allow the 5th most assists per game to point guards, while Young leads the NBA with 11.4 assists per game. We expect him to drop some dimes tonight. I'm Michael Jenkins from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books, and download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
If you need a new vehicle and you're concerned about your credit, we have real solutions, not the same old problems. I'm Chris George, and we're the all-new Hyundai of El Cajon.
Well, hey guys, it's Woodsy here. Cheer on your San Diego Padres as they head to sunny Peoria, Arizona for another great year of spring training baseball. The 2025 baseball season starts in Arizona at the Peoria Sports Complex, where you can see all your favorite Padre players up close. Wind up in Peoria with cold drinks, great food, and the best seats in baseball. It is family fun for fans of all ages. Make sure you get your tickets at PeoriaBaseball.com. PeoriaBaseball.com. See you in Peoria.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Buying or selling a home? With 17 years of real estate experience, Eliminate Termite offers escrow-certified termite inspections and treatments backed by a full structural warranty. Our exclusive Deliminite Orange Oil Termite Treatment offers an organic, non-toxic solution that is people, pet, and environmentally friendly. No tents, no moving out. As Class B general contractors, we also offer full-service construction and repairs to any parts of your home affected by termite damage. Schedule a free inspection today at EliminateTermite.com. That's EliminateTermite.com.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, this is Brad Evans from BetMGM Tonight, weekdays 7-11 Eastern. The BetMGM Network is your home for expert sports betting insights, real-time odds, and nonstop action.
And the best time to tune in is right now. The madness of college basketball is heating up, the NBA playoff race is tightening, and MLB opening day is just around the corner.
We've got expert picks, in-depth analysis, and everything you need to stay ahead of the game.
Presented by the sportsbook born in Vegas, BetMGM.
Watch on YouTube, listen on the free Odyssey app. This is a BetMGM Network.
Mostly sunny and breezy, low 70s to low 80s.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
10:27 on the Fan. Welcome back. Annie and Elsten here with you. Long first segment. We'll tighten it up here a little bit in segment number 2, but get to the college hoops story from the weekend that was, Annie. And, when last we met, San Diego State was playing well. They had won 2 consecutive games in solid fashion. They were heading to Utah State, which we knew was going to be a difficult match.
Yes.
It was going to be one that, they weren't favored to win, that it would be a real feather in their cap if they did win up there and take down the Aggies. And instead, Magungwath got taken down underneath the basket, hurt his knee. They're doing testing now. As in the classic coaching sense, the Aztecs will hope for the best. They will plan for the worst. They will plan for a season without Magungwath the rest of the way, and then they will hope that the doctors give them some positive news the rest of the week. But truly a double blow in that him going down probably helped cost them the game, and the committee pays attention to key injuries on bubble teams, and this unfortunately diminishes San Diego State's stock, so it's the insult added to the injury right there.
Yeah, and credit to San Diego State. I mean, they fought again. They looked like they could even maybe forge a really, truly amazing comeback and win that game. But it was just too much to overcome. I mean, it was just losing Magungwath. And then the way that it happened with the refs and them not stopping the game, that was just so ridiculous. I don't even understand how that could happen. But to lose someone who's been playing so well for you and who's been a big part of the wins, I think it's going to be a lot for this team to overcome. Hopefully it's not as bad as we think, but so far the reports haven't been super optimistic. But we haven't heard the official word yet.
Yeah, and
he's out for tomorrow, or is that tomorrow?
Yeah,
it is tomorrow. We have tickets to give away for that.
So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
Can't wait to be at San Diego State tomorrow at the same time.
Oh,
for baseball.
Oops.
Great planning.
USD SDSU tomorrow at Tony Gwynn Stadium.
That is correct. Yes.
That's going to be a good one.
We start at 6 though, so cruise over to the baseball game, and then about the 6th inning because it's a Tuesday night, so you want to get out of there early anyway. Cruise over to the basketball game. 2 for 1.
Yeah. Given it's a Tuesday, it could be all freshman pitching. It might be the 4th inning.
Yeah, I think.
At 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you might see some former, or should I say, Hall of Famers kids pitching tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Which one?
We have to look at the roster. If that's the case.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to look at the roster.
Well, you might say, well, there's a lot of two-way guys on the Toreros, so maybe AJ Beltre is on the mound tomorrow.
Beltre.
That's cool.
Beltre. That's right. You mentioned he had his first inning. He kind of got hung out to dry, right?
He started this weekend as a position player. His at bats and his swing is just mini Adrian Beltre.
Does he get mad if you take his helmet off?
Mini.
I haven't seen the head thing yet. The kids haven't really messed with his head too much, so I don't know. I'll ask him about it. But but he pissed me off though in the hotel.
Yeah.
I rode up the elevator with him to on one of the days. We were talking to him. He called me sir, and I almost punched him in the face. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yes, sir.
I know Brock is telling you guys to have manners. I'm 30 years old. I'm about to be 30. No sir here. No sir here.
Well, yeah, hey, for the Aztecs, all you can do is regroup. Tuesday is a tough game, too. But the reality of the situation, as was described by Braden last week,
split.
Getting one would be enough, and beating the bad teams could still be enough. But the one real drag is I've seen it happen in the past, Annie, where a team had the good resume, even had a decent finish to the year, but they lost their top player.
Yeah.
And having that injury, the committee just went, nope, sorry. We're not going to put you in because we know you can't go that far without him. So it's tough to put that on the shoulders of a great ascendant freshman, but it's also the reality of the situation. If he doesn't come back, the chance of them making the tournament at large really diminishes.
Yeah, I mean, you're already on the bubble, so that's already kind of, something that the committee's looking at, and then you got this big injury. But again, we'll see what it shakes out to be. Certainly, if they can rally against it or show the committee that there's still some fight in them. I mean, obviously that's the best way to go about this, and that's really all they can do is just try to win their games and continue to fight and battle. But it's definitely going to be a demoralizing thing the more games that he misses, and just in terms of just how good he's been for this team this year.
As of yesterday, Lenardi moved them down one spot in the deal. So from being a last four bye to the top team is the last four in again.
Yeah.
And we expected them, if they can split with these two and beat New Mexico tomorrow, they'll probably get backed up into the last four bye, take care of business against the lousy teams in the Mountain West, win a couple in the tournament, and you're going to have a 10 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the dream.
If you win the tournament, you'll get an 8 or 9.
And after this quick timeout, when we come back, we'll talk about the other side of it as well, which is UCSD rolling. UCSD might be able to get an at-large berth. They legitimately might be able to get an at-large berth if they had a stumble in Nevada. That's how great a finish it has been. We'll get to that and a lot more as we continue forward. Padres Deep Dive Hour coming up at 11, including a live report from Sam Levitt at 11:35. All still ahead on Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
When it comes to jazz music, I have very little knowledge.
Same, me too.
I did enjoy growing up with going to Padres games. Whoever it was that did "Heidi, Heidi, Heidi, hi," and the whole crowd would then repeat, "Hody, hody, hody, ho, heedy, 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 he, Heidi, 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 ho."
Thank you.
Heidi, 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 hi.
Is that jazz?
Is that kind of jazz?
Listen to Ben and Woods weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
Injured? Call the Barnes firm now. 1-800-8-million. That's 1-800-8-million.
San Diego to Tijuana, bus leaving in 3 minutes.
Hey, how are you, babe?
Hi, I'm good, but I wish you were here in Tijuana.
I know, I wish you were here in San Diego. Hey, I just sent you a song.
I love it, but it made me miss you even more.
10:39 on the Fan. Welcome back. Annie and Elsten here with you. So, as you know, Braden missed Friday's show because he was on a USD baseball trip out to Arizona. The Toreros and Wildcats did battle over the course of the weekend. It went Arizona's way. Nonetheless, chance for you to go back to your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, it was cool.
In Tucson. I want the trip report now.
I've been to Tucson since I drove through there on the way home from college from TCU, where I got hit by a gas tanker. Destroyed my truck.
God.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Scary.
Because that long drive from San Diego to Fort Worth and back, by the time I get to Tucson on the way back, I feel like I'm home. Almost like getting to El Centro. You feel like you're home.
Yeah.
Right? It was the same kind of feel. I was like, I got 5 hours left. I've done this before. And my sister and I got hit on the side from a gas tanker that swerved out of the way of something else and hit us in the fast lane into a guardrail, which totaled my truck, filled with all of my stuff from college. Had to load it up into a U-Haul, leave my truck there.
Holy crap.
And finish on the way home. So that was miserable. But the last time I was on campus, I was 18 as a freshman in college. So it was cool to be back and do that. And, I got in Thursday night and went to the hotel. And then Friday morning, they have breakfast and, they have an itinerary of things they have to do. They didn't play till 6 o'clock Mountain Time on Friday night, so they do a lift on Fridays. So I went with them to the team lift, which was cool. They lifted at the Arizona's athlete gym, which is at the McHale Center. So it was cool to get into the McHale Center. I got to walk on the court a little bit, and I haven't been in there again since I was a freshman attending games. Worked out in the gym, and then took the SID Anderson. We went to this place called Agoro Canelo, which is a Sonoran hot dog place that's famous in town. So went there for lunch. It was good. And then we went out and USD Tennis was playing Arizona. So Brock took the team at around 2 o'clock before the game to go support the tennis team, which was cool. So we took in a tennis match for a little bit before heading over to legendary High Corbett Field, which is really cool. They moved off campus in 2012, right before I got there. The on-campus stadium was cool for U of A, but they moved off campus in 2012 when the Tucson Padres left, and that was the last minor league team there. And it was the home of the Cleveland Indians for 20 years for spring training. Hence why Major League and Major League Two spring training was filmed at High Corbett Field, which was pretty cool. So it was a really great facility. I mean, it's an ex-Major League Baseball spring training facility, ex-minor league, AAA stadium in the PCL. So really cool venue with Terry Francona's hitting center in right field and everything like that. But the games themselves didn't go the way of USD, but overall it was a good trip. And then Saturday, Arizona gave me some free tickets to the basketball game, so I got to go watch them play. I got to see the game come down to the wire against BYU. Which was cool. And then I just kind of walked through campus on the way out, waited for the crowds to die down, and went to walk through the bar scene on University, which made me feel super old. Yeah. Walking through there, because all the bars and stuff on University, they wouldn't turn into the nightclubs at night. They would just be the bar still, but now they're all college nightclub vibes, right? Or a DJ and blasting music. Even the sushi place turns into the nightclub on University. And I was going to walk through and get some food at one of the bars I knew, and it was all right, nightclub, line around the building with a bunch of children in line. No, thank you. They look like children. I was I can't believe how old I feel walking down the street on a college campus. And I was not doing that. So I went and got food down the street somewhere else, and then Ubered back, but it was a great little trip. Bus back with the team last night. It was a long bus ride, 5.5 hours. We stopped in Yuma for dinner. I walked into Freddy's. I decided to go to Freddy's last night. Freddy's steak burgers and custard or whatever like that.
Okay.
Do we have a Freddy's here?
I don't know.
I don't think we do.
Never heard of it.
No,
I went for basically the custard because I got teased all weekend because our hotel was next to a Culver's.
Okay.
And so I wanted to get, on one of the nights they closed at 9 o'clock. So I never made it back in time. So I had custard on my mind. So I was okay, well, There's Freddy's over
I
there.
had custard on my mind.
Sentence I never thought I'd
It's
use
great.
here, but
Frozen custard's great.
Custard.
Frozen
on my
custard's
mind.
great. So I walk into Freddy's. All the other, like the baseball players, college kids always go. They went to In-N-Out and Cane's. It was like their two spots.
Yes.
I was the lone one that went to. I was like, I'm gonna go to Freddy's. So I walk into Freddy's in Yuma. And there's like 15 people in front of me, but they're all like, they're dressed odd. It looked like they came from like a ball or like some type of dance. But like the women and the girls were wearing like Little House on the Prairie like dresses. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like kind of like old school, like 1800s, like late 1800s, early 1900s like dresses and stuff.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay. And then the boys and the dads are wearing suits.
Traditional Mormon family?
I don't know. It was a bunch of families and they're in line and they looked like they're at some event before. And I was trying to figure out what it was. I feel like I went back in time.
Custard's a big deal. You know?
Apparently, I was like, is it still 2025 here?
Or Tucson or Colorado City? Where am I?
Well, I
right
was in
now?
Yuma. This is on the way back.
Okay, even still.
Which is even weirder. And so I'm like, okay, they were nice. And I was like, okay, I don't really want to talk to you people. But they were taking forever to order. And I was like looking, and I was like, because they kind of had like this Amish vibe to them, or one of those, like the Jewish families in my neighborhood. They do the whole like, I think they're what are they called?
Orthodox?
Yeah, they're like Orthodox. So like on Saturdays, they don't use technology and stuff like that. Like that was kind of the vibe I was getting. But they're on their phones and stuff, so it wasn't that. And I was like, what are these people doing? And so I was it was just a weird group. And then like the guy at the front, he was wearing a suit with slick back hair. He looked like he was from like the 20s. And he was like talking to the cashier. He was like trying to sell him something. It's like, oh yeah, you should check out this place. And here's like a card and all this other stuff. And I was like, what is going on? Is there this like, I was like, am I dealing with a cult right now? Is there like a cult getting Freddy's custard and burgers? And one of them started talking to me, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, we took up all this time. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So I get my food, and I leave, and I'm sitting. I go back to the In-N-Out where the SID and the trainer, I was like,
all the smart people.
I don't know.
Not getting custard.
I don't know what I just experienced.
Custard with the fundamentalists.
Yeah, and Anderson, the SID, is like, well, did you talk to him and see why? I'm like, why would I do that? I don't want to open a conversation with these people and then know a little bit more about them than I need to know about what's going on. It was
hi there, friends. Let me ask you about your state of dress.
That's right.
It seems a bit odd to me.
Because then I was like, well, what happens if that's just what they wear? Then I'm, like, what are you talking about? What's with the life preserver?
I just look at you and go,
what are you talking about?
We just went to church, man. What do you mean?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. It was weird. I was just getting weird
church and
vibes.
custard.
I got out of there quick, but it was crazy. It was a crazy time.
I don't think you can say these people and it be ever like a compliment or like a not a, you know what I mean? Like
right.
I think like they
was
could
very
just
interesting.
be who they are, you know?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't ask any questions. They were dressed very weird, and I was just like, okay, I was doing their thing. Don't talk to me. I'm
The
going to walk
chat
out.
has come through to let us know that the National City Freddy's is closed.
Oh.
There was one, though, apparently.
However, there is one open in San Marcos.
Wow.
Apparently on Norwalk. I don't know if that's Norwalk Street, Norwalk Avenue, Norwalk Boulevard, but if you go to Freddy's in San Marcos, you can get your custard and probably see people dressed normally.
Not Little House on the Prairie.
Jolson's right. Maybe you are the one dressed weird and these are the ones dressed normally.
It is Yuma.
Great point.
Although the people after that came in were dressed like me.
Oh, Nordal, not Norwalk. Okay, got it. I know where Nordal is. Didn't know where Norwalk was.
Custard was good, though. I got a Reese's and Oreo custard,
which
was great on the way home, and then got home at like 10:45 last night.
Got your fix?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Custard's good.
Custard's good.
Have you ever had frozen custard? It's basically like ice cream.
It's
like
ice
the
cream.
same thing.
It's ice cream.
It's just thicker. It's like they call it this is a concrete.
Yeah.
Like that.
And so is gelato. Gelato's ice
Yeah,
cream
it's
too,
a
but
little
it's a little different.
It's a little different. That's a
Or-
little
I don't
different.
think I've ever had frozen custard.
I'm
It's
sure
pretty
I
good.
have, yeah.
But again, it's just like thick ice cream. It's
Yeah, it's
basically.
ice
I'm sure the way they make it is different.
Mm-hmm.
But was a
By
weird
the
deal.
way, Saturday night I saw our beloved Jocelyn in the chat. She was at the Sockers match, and she said that she lives to give Braden stuff in the chat. So
She just lurks in there and then waits for me to talk and then starts firing off.
So she just asked, "Is Braden's bitches segment over yet?"
I wasn't bitching. I was just telling this. It was just a weird deal. I've never seen people dressed like that unless I was at a Western reenactment or Colonial Williamsburg situation, or you go to Old Town. They look like they were dressed like they were like actors at Old Town. That's how they were dressed.
Maybe they all just got off work. Yeah, exactly.
They were like families, though.
I think you should have talked to them. I'm sure they were very nice.
I'm sure they would have tried to have me join their religion.
The Custard Chronicles.
So, super weird vibes. The basketball game was fun. I don't know if Tony Padilla will be allowed back at the University of Arizona the way that game ended.
Is he the one who started the Mormons chant? Or?
Oh, no. That was after BYU and Arizona got into a fight on the court. So the game ended. So Padilla had the call, right? And it was a bad call. But as Tommy Lloyd said, if you're going to give up as many three-pointers as we did and give up 90-something points at home, it doesn't really matter about the call, which is true. But Arizona got a bad call at the end of the game. BYU shot 2 free throws to take the lead with 2 seconds left. Arizona missed a buzzer beater, half-court shot, and they lost at home to BYU. And then there was a scuffle in the handshake line.
Uh-oh.
And then after the scuffle, the BYU players started mouthing off to the student section at Arizona, and then were flipping the bird to a lot of people. And then the students started to do that chant in which Arizona had apologized for after the fact. But it did get hostile very quickly at the McHale Center after the game. And then I was quickly trying to get out of there before seeing any other interactions with BYU and Arizona fans. Maybe a new rivalry on the horizon in the Big 12.
You know what? Sometimes the chat drives me crazy. Other times the chat is just genius. I am looking up Utah Mennonite Church.
Maybe that's it.
And I think I have found your custard friends.
What do they look like? Oh, no.
Type in what is Mennonite Church, and you can see it's kind of an Amish-looking dress.
Yeah.
Similar?
They weren't wearing those little hats.
They were wearing the little hats,
but they were kind of, I mean, no, the Wikipedia's not helping me out.
Okay.
If they do have that, would actually make a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a Mennonite church in Yuma. I got the address.
Yeah, the dresses are dresses are pretty close.
Could be.
All walks of life with the Mennonite. Are you allowed to have a phone and stuff? They had phones.
Well, it wasn't Saturday. We've left 2 minutes, which is just enough time to mention that.
That's kind of what they're wearing.
It's kind of right. I think it might be the Mennonites. I think you ran into a Mennonite custard outing.
How about that?
Just, Sundays are for pacifism and custard.
They're very happy-looking people.
Good.
They're having a good time.
Peace-loving.
Getting their custard on a Sunday night. What a great time in Yuma.
So Eric Olin's UCSD Tritons won their 9th in a row. They annihilated Hawaii on King Triton bobblehead night. Won by 39 points.
Yeah.
83-44. Both numbers are amazing. 83 points in college basketball is really good. Holding a team to 44 is stupid. And they did both in the same game. And everyone scored, and it's just another romp.
Huge.
9 straight wins, 24-4 now, 14-2 in conference. Just rolling to the finish line. Like a giant boulder going downhill. They're just crushing everything in their path right now. And first place looks like it's not a lock, but like it's a garden path to first place for UCSD. And if they do that, then it's a great chance to get to at the very least, the conference tournament final. Of course, you want to beat probably UCI again, and it'll be a tough match again, but they've done such a great job that actually at this point, I could see them make it. Like, get to that final, something goes wrong, the 7-footer has a huge game, they lose that game by 3 or whatever, someone hits a 3 late, and still making the tournament. That's what a great season they've had.
Yeah, it's really exciting for them, and I'm again, like you, hopeful that they can just kind of keep it going. But they have been to this point. They've really done a great job, and Eric Olin has so much to be proud of. So does the whole athletic department there at UCSD with what they're putting together. So you just got to hang on at this point and keep going, and they could really see their dreams realized here very, very soon.
And maybe UCSD just stole USD's mojo. Like, they just swept in at night and scooped it out, because the Toreros have lost 15 in a row. So
they didn't have a lot of mojo to begin with, though.
All the mojo's in La Jolla now. That's where it's residing, in Triton Town. All right, that's it for our number one. When we come back, it's our Padres Deep Dive Hour. All the latest from San Diego's spring training next on The Fan. 11 a.m. on The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com, get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. It's hour number 2 of Andy and Elsten. Andy Halburn, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprano coming to you live on 97.3 FM radio. Welcome to everybody in their cars or elsewhere. We are also streaming worldwide on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Log in and listen. Leave us a voice message. Think they can do that again.
Yeah.
Give it a try. Be on the Odyssey app. See the little button that says leave us a voice message. Leave the voice message.
You didn't play any on Friday?
No.
Oh, Frank probably doesn't have access to it. You had like
Might
3 or
not.
4 on Friday.
Uh-oh. If any of them are still fun or useful, we'll play them at Ask Us Anything coming up. But you can leave one for our final segment.
Yeah.
Ask Us Anything. We'll take your calls, but we'll also play your voice clips on Odyssey. We are also, of course, a podcast divvied up in an hour-by-hour format and fed out to all the podcatchers around the world. If you happen to be on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and you can leave us that 5-star review, we say thank you for that. Last but certainly not least, we are a video show on YouTube every single day. Welcome to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for your high utility last segment, both in identifying where and where isn't custard available in South and North County, San Diego.
I've got like 3 notifications on Twitter about people telling me where Freddy's is. It got the job done, but it's not that. I'm not going to be driving over the county for it.
Gotcha. But also we kind of solved the
Mennonite deal.
The whole Mennonite situation, figured that out, geolocated it. So thank you for the chat. Let's increase our attendance to like ratio right now and get it a lot closer to 101. Well over 100 people streaming right now simultaneously. So why don't we have 100 likes right now? Everybody smash that like button, please, and help get the show out to future audiences.
Flip the vibes after all the L's.
Yes.
Took 2 more L's this morning. Woke up to a phone that was not charged. Always great.
Yeah.
Go outside my car, and the tire's flat.
Oh,
Also sick.
that sucks.
Sick! I was like, sick.
It's all the conflict karma that you've accumulated the last 2 weekends for announcing for USD when they took on your universities.
I didn't make the schedule.
Your universities won.
I didn't make the
7
schedule.
of 7. I know you didn't, but nonetheless, the conflict karma, which you didn't intend to create, it was nonetheless created, and thus your phone wasn't charged and your tire was
What was the
flat.
excuse last year when USD took 2 out of 3 from Arizona?
They just
Which I
didn't
did all
want it
3 of
enough.
those games.
They did.
And
Just
beat
didn't-
TCU in Fort Worth when I was on the trip with them then.
They didn't want it enough that particular time.
Okay.
They weren't locked in.
TCU went to Omaha that year.
Pretty impressive.
That's right. Arizona hosted last year. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm poking holes in your
kind of
conspiracy
I
here.
mean, maybe
Your conscrabacy.
Maybe a little bit.
We'll find out Tuesday against San Diego State.
Maybe it's a 1-year thing. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
this
this year.
It could be just this year.
It's the freshmen.
Yeah.
You know what? We do have 2 Dons on the team now. It's been mostly Saints kids. Maybe it's their fault.
Got a little too close to the fire.
That's right. They got super stoked when I walked on the bus wearing a Cathedral shirt the other day.
You're like, yes.
I was like, first of all, you're not paying attention during the first pitch dinner when I said my connections to the Cathedral. They're like, no. Then they told the Saints kids immediately, does it make you nervous that there's a Don on the bus? Pretty funny. Yeah, flat tire this morning. Great.
Not great.
Great.
At
Get
least
to
you
deal with
had
that when I get home.
Family car to drive. You were
Yeah,
set. You
I
were
have
no
that
problem.
for 24 hours, but then I'm going to have to figure out something for tomorrow.
You're going to have to get that taken care of.
My boy's a discount.
We got the termite people coming this afternoon. The third one, the tiebreaker, is coming this afternoon. So can't wait for that. All right, to baseball we go.
Neat. Yeah, Jocelyn, put a nail in my tire via the chat.
Jocelyn just lurking in the driveway.
Lurking.
I would believe it.
I
pretty
would
much.
too, actually.
Based on my interactions with her, I think she's got
She can
you
get
on
it
the
done.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll keep my head on a swivel.
So, couple decent results for the Padres. I need to remind everyone, winning the Cactus League, that's the province of the Rockies, the Angels. These are the teams that traditionally win the Cactus League.
Rockies, Angels.
The favorite thing to remember from spring training stats, all good spring training stats are important and real, and all bad spring training stats are irrelevant and the product of somebody that's just working on something, and why are you paying such close attention?
These games don't matter.
Right. Games don't matter, stats don't matter, unless you're doing well, in which case that is good, relevant, and real.
I saw too many Padre fans talking, Dodgers 0-3.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, no.
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
I'm sure a certain segment that we normally see here where we're like, oh, here come the Dodgers beating us 5 runs in the 8th. They win. Oh, boy, here we go again. Like, guys.
Stop it.
Stop it.
You can't say it matters and then not say it matters.
It doesn't.
Stop flipping it back and forth. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Let the guys get their work in. We'll see it March 27th.
The thing that matters is injuries. That's what matters the most in spring training. And just about every single pitching staff that exists has 2 to 3 injuries that are revealed in the first 2 weeks of spring training. It's the nature of it. If you look at the injured list, if you look at the injured list and when pitchers go on the injured list, Yanni, it's like March, April is this giant hump, and then it's pretty kind of low and constant, and then you get to the end of the season and you get some fatigue injuries that come at the end of the year. But like right now, when guys have been gone the whole off season with something that's been in there, but they just didn't know it was in there, then they start throwing, and then they find out, uh-oh, my arm hurts. It's unfortunate. It's inevitable. It's almost like NFL exhibition game injuries. Like everyone's going to take some. You don't know what position group it's going to hit. You just hope it doesn't hit too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So Brian Hoeing, who might be back soon, Sean Reynolds, here's the first 2 guys that got nailed by the spring training injury bug.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, when you contrast that with Manny saying he feels 100% for the first time in years. I mean, I've never heard Manny say he feels 100%. And he joked about how from that point on, it was going to get lower. That number was going to get lower. But for him to come into camp feeling that way and then to have that home run on Friday, and, it's just good for confidence. It's good for their at-bats. It's good to see Luis Arraez just feeling the way that he does and having that health in his thumb and what he might be able to do. Was good to see Ethan Salas and Leo Dallas DeVries do their thing yesterday. Can't read too much into the reactions, or the results rather, but just to see them have some confidence and feel like they're getting their rhythm and their feet under them is always a good thing. But Sean Reynolds, stress reaction in his right foot. He'll be wearing a walking boot for at least the next week and a half. So whether that rolls into the start of the season, I would imagine it's at least going to hurt his ramp-up time, so it might have some kind of effect, which he's really one that people I think are really excited to see. And then Brian Hoeing, looking at him as your setup man and your long man, he has a, barking in his arm. No structural damage, but barking in his arm and his shoulder. Yeah, so it's not thought to be overly serious, but those ones are tricky because you don't see anything on the MRI, but there's pain, and you can't come back too early or else you have another setback. So maybe both those guys aren't starting the season at full health right away.
Yeah, the team will always say the things that they will say. They'll say, oh, minor, precautionary, just in case, if it was a playoff game, this or that. But the reality is barking arm is about the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's he's hurt, but we don't know why.
And you've got to give that enough time to heal before you go out and you test it again. And then, like I said, you don't want to test it too early or too much because then you have another setback. So both those guys, it illustrates why you need some depth in that bullpen.
And the Padres have it, Meanwhile, I've seen a lot of Sammy videos of Alec Jacob making people look really silly with all of his wacky, bending pitches. So, there's a guy that could step in and get an opportunity. Ron Marinaccio is a guy who could step in and get an opportunity because Hoeing and Reynolds are down, and otherwise those guys would be stuck, probably in AAA, and minding their business. And that's just the nature of this. So I don't get precious about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's going to happen. It's random. It's unfortunate. but every team is going to have 2 or 3 guys with a barking arm or a sore foot.
Sometimes it's better that it happens now because it gives the team a little bit of time before the season starts to figure out some depth plans and some backup plans versus, the first week or 2 of the season, a guy goes out and then another guy goes out, and now a lot of other guys have gone off the board and gone to other teams, and you're not, it doesn't give you really the luxury as much as this timing does in camp.
Today's starting lineup for the Padres as they will take on at the top of the hour the Chicago Cubs at Peoria Sports Complex. Eggy Rosario starting in left field. I think that's interesting. We had heard that. Now we're seeing it. As Eggy gets the corner call.
Yeah, I think they really want him to get some reps there, get comfortable there, and I think that they can envision him getting some games there because they want to try to get his bat in the lineup.
He'll be followed by Bogarts at short. Merrill is batting third once again. Early signifier, maybe, yes. Machado cleaning up. Manny back in the lineup, followed by his buddy Yuri Gurriel hitting fifth at first base, playing first base today. Noah Rise in the lineup today. Jacob Cronenworth is at second base, followed by Connor Joe at DH. Edwin Diaz is the catcher today. Oscar Gonzalez has been off to a strong start so far for the San Diego Padres. He's had, I believe, hits in every game that he has played so far. The Cleveland Guardians cast-off. Gonzalez will hit ninth in right field today. That also means Fernando Tatis, who's been down with the flu, is still down and unable to start.
A bummer for Fernando Tatis Jr., but that flu, I had it over the Christmas break, and, it is brutal. So if he just got like that bad strain, it definitely takes you out.
And Randy Vasquez gets the start today on the mound for the San Diego Padres. So the fifth starter job will continue to be a feature, I think, of this spring training. It's probably about the number one thing that I'm actually curious about, other than guys getting out healthy and being good, is what's going on with this fifth starter job. We'll hear a little bit in our next segment, Annie, from Matt Waldron. He got his first crack over the weekend, and now today Vasquez gets his first crack.
That'll be good.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, first outing for Ethan Salas, first outing for Matt Waldron. We've got both of those sounds, plus a Dodger fan who doesn't know who's on her team or
who's on first,
who exists, like just clueless, which is fun. We'll do all of that as we continue.
Ha-Sung Kim or Hi-Sung Kim.
Padres Deep Dive Hour. Sam Levitt at the bottom of the hour. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:18. Annie and Elsten grooving into a sunny Monday with you on 97.3 The Fan. Sam Levitt coming up in our next segment. He will join us live from Padres spring training in Peoria. In the interim, we shall snack upon all of the great things he's put on the table for us the last couple of days. And
Snacks.
It's really nice. You know, he's like a short order cook. We ask for a little of this, a little of that. He rings the bell, puts it up. Got to give credit to Adam. Adam's the one who usually has the knives, chopping it all up, posting it digitally, and then on we roll with you. Not a big news weekend for the Padres, which is good news in the spring. You know,
Yeah.
some results, somebody gets a hit, whatever. Somebody gets a homer, cool. As long as nobody's walking off the mound, nobody's walking off the field with the trainer, that's a great day at spring training. Sun's shining, even better. So let's get to a couple of the things that happened over the weekend. You know, why don't we start, Braden, just to knock it out with the last link in the 11 a.m. there. Dodgers, yeah, that's the one. John Boy found this over the weekend. Now, I did not catch this when it happened, not going to lie. Because on an early Sunday afternoon, you know, and some stuff to do.
Yeah.
And the soccer match later in the afternoon. But Hae-Sung Kim made his Camelback Ranch debut for the Dodgers, the new Korean that they've picked up. Not to be confused with former Padre infielder Ha-Sung Kim, unless you're a Dodger fan underneath the Spectrum Sportsnet crowd mic, in which case maybe you will confuse the two.
Ha-Sung Kim a swing and a miss.
Lefty.
Kim 1 for 1, infield single in the fourth, walked in the sixth. One. Swing and a miss there.
What? Did they know what they were chanting? It sounded like Ya-Sung Kim.
It's like Jung-Sung Kim.
First of all, as Braden says, he's a lefty.
He's not even, yeah.
He's not even batting from the same side as Ha-Sung Kim. Doesn't have the same body makeup or anything. I mean, if you wanted to say like, well, guy's wearing a helmet, you can't, see his face or whatever, but like doesn't have the same body makeup at all. No. And he didn't jump from the Padres to the Dodgers.
This is the prime example of why I will never go to a Padres-Dodgers game as a fan. Because you have to deal with idiots like this all the time. It's so unbearable to watch a game with people like this that don't know anything about their team, and unfortunately for all of us here in San Diego, they have had the benefit of winning so many games, and they are the most obnoxious people on the planet. This is why I do not go to Padres-Dodgers games as a fan, because you have to sit next to this and listen, and then they go like, rings. You're like, dude, just shut up. Just shut up. You're stupid. You don't know anything about your team. Stop talking. Go talk about rings that you don't win yourself somewhere else. If I'm going to go to a Padres-Dodgers game, I will be there covering it in the press. I will not go as a fan for this particular reason.
While the woman who's closest to the mic is getting most of our chuckles, you can hear in the background the dude that she's with. And he's the one I'm actually upset with, because she's like, come on, you're on a better team now. And then you hear him go, in the background. And then she, oh, you got, and then he goes, oh, he might get a ring. And she goes, you might get a ring.
Because he didn't know either.
He doesn't know either.
Yeah.
Most of the people there have no idea. They don't know anything about their team. They're just, I'm a Dodger fan. I was born in L.A. We're the best team ever. We're the Dodgers. L.A.
Mookie.
Yeah. They don't know. They don't know anything about baseball. The most obnoxious fan base of all time. They get
Freddie
everything
Freeman
handed to them.
He got that hit.
Born on third base as a fan, and then it's like they don't know anything about the sport. I don't want to hear about any of their complaining about how we lost so many times in the playoffs. So heartbreaking. Who cares? You move on to the Lakers.
I mean, good point.
Obnoxious.
Lakers are pretty good this year.
Move on to Craig's Lakers.
That's right.
Craig's beloved LA teams that he loves.
Well, I do love that one. Not going to hide from it.
But seriously, go watch USC football. I'm sure,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they still think Carson Palmer's the quarterback.
I still am like
obnoxious fan base.
What were they chanting? It did not sound like Hai Sung Kim.
It sounded like Jung Sung Kim.
Yeah, it was
I
something.
don't know
Yeah,
what they were
It wasn't Hai Sung.
1-1.
Jail Sun Kim?
Swing and a miss there.
Hyun?
Joe Sun Kim?
Hyun Sun Kim?
There's
Joe. It sounds like Joe.
Joe Sun Kim.
Joe Sun Kim.
Joe Sun. Joke's on him.
He's a lefty.
That's what they're actually chanting. Joke's on him for dating that girl. Joke's on him.
What? I don't know why the joke's on him. He doesn't know either.
That's true. He has no clue.
None of those people know.
No clue.
I mean, let's pull up the screen again. Let's pull up the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of these people have any idea who's on their team, aside from Mookie and Freddie Freeman.
They're waiting for the graphic to show when.
Yeah,
when
Shohei,
Shohei's
exactly.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know any of these people.
I got to admit, in about the 85th minute last night, as everyone is tense, I said, "How soon until Shohei's up?" And that did get a good.
Let's
laugh.
ask this guy right here. Hey, man. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Hey, man. Tell us about Milton Bradley.
You're like, huh?
Tell us about Milton Bradley.
Who? The games?
What you know about Matt Kemp?
Yeah, I had Monopoly as a kid. Yeah, Milton Bradley.
What you know about Matt Kemp? Sean Green? Ring a bell?
Never heard of
You
him.
know who that is?
No,
of course not.
I only like Dodger Blue, not Sean Green.
That's right. Of course not. I have no idea who that is.
There's plenty of good and knowledgeable Dodgers fans. There's more people in LA than other places.
Yes.
Which means you will have, by definition, more dumb bandwagon fans.
100%.
They did have a lot of fans there yesterday, so maybe it was the ratio was not quite on their side.
Joe Sung Kim. Good job, gang.
They could be Arizona people that root for the Dodgers.
Good job, gang. You're right on top of it.
Unbelievable. That's why that's why going to those games are just so incredibly frustrating.
All right, we gave you that. Let's give you something positive in Padres. Matt Waldron gave up a double off the wall on the first pitch that he threw, which was a knuckleball. He gave up a single, and then he retired everybody else against the Oakland Athletics on Saturday. I was tuned into this one, listening to Jesse and Tony and having the Padres.com broadcast up. And Waldron threw almost 2/3 knuckleballs in the 2 innings, and once he got going, and boy, wasn't that a regular thing for Matt Waldron last year. Took X number of pitches, and sometimes it was 10, and sometimes it was 25, for him to get that timing, get the touch, get the feel, and then, man, you couldn't hit him. Here's what Matty Waldron had to say to Sam Levitt after coming off the mound on Saturday against the Athletics.
We're committed to the knuckleball. How much of that was, that it was spring training, and how much of that is, hey, this is who Matt Waldron
Yeah, exactly. This is the time to work on things that you're uncomfortable with, and if I'm having trouble throwing strikes with it now, why would I not? And I'm also competing for a spot, so it is a tough spot there. But I'd rather struggle here than be unprepared for the season.
A couple of those early were at the high end of your velocity for a knuckleball, I think.
Yeah.
And so was your fastball actually, was up there. What was your energy like today?
Yeah. You can't replicate those emotions and adrenaline in the off season or even in a live BP. So. You just got to harness that a little bit, and yeah, it felt good to be out there and just give it your all.
When they did kind of jump on those 2 knuckleballs, what was happening with them at that point? Just down the middle, or?
Yeah, probably down the middle, and I'm sure they knew it was coming. So I think they guessed right, and I'll swallow that and carry on.
How much do you work on sequencing? Because it will be different if you're throwing more of them this year. Like, how much is sequencing and spring training a thing?
I got to make the other stuff useful. So fastball's got to be for a strike, and it can't be off the zone. And I feel like that's a waste. So if I'm using my other stuff, I better use it well. Did I answer that?
Yeah. Is the rate of knuckleballs today indicative of what you're looking for, more or less?
Do you guys know the percentage by chance? Or I know it was
63.
63. Okay, I think that's that's, I'll have to talk with Ruben and see where we're at there. But, it felt like a lot. It felt like every bit of 63. So.
Do you? I mean, you obviously didn't throw the knuckleball regularly until you did. Like, you had a fastball then, and you played off that. Like, does the knuckleball feel like what that pitch was? Just from a
Yeah, I
that
get what
kind
you're
of
saying.
perspective?
Yeah, I feel like it was like I could throw when you throw a fastball, you obviously try and throw it hard. Like I feel like it was the same way with the knuckleball. Like I'm trying to replicate that same intensity that I'd have with the fastball with a knuckleball. So it's just it feels very similar intent wise.
Really interesting stuff as usual from a guy that I think is almost underrated for how thoughtful he is about his craft. Matt Waldron.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, he's such a humble guy, and you love that about him, and you hope that the confidence is also right there parallel to that. But for him, look, I mean, definitely I think for him, confidence-wise, even though it's not a big deal, it's just his first spring training start, to give up a hit, or was it a hit, a run, a hit? What did
he gave up two hits in a run. In the first spring training game, not a huge deal, but confidence-wise, not letting the other team, I guess, get off to too much of a hot start is definitely something he's working on and something that he had trouble with last year. So it'd be good to see him be aggressive and dominate from the first inning on, and maybe some of his later spring training starts. I still think for him and for Randy Vasquez, like that's an open competition. If Randy Vasquez can show that he's got the stuff to be able to take another step up, I think they're looking at both of those guys for that fifth spot. No question about it. And it's going to come down to who they feel best about today, and if that feeling is confirmed 6 weeks from now. Like, I think today they probably give the ball to Matt, but 6 weeks from now, has Randy made a coherent argument that he should take the ball instead? And Kyle Hart is out there waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to outperform both of them and make them the El Paso 1-2 next year. And Kyle Hart's the fifth starter. So a fun competition to watch amidst all the meaningless things that happen in Peoria over the course of the spring.
And good to hear from Matt Waldron. He does have thoughtful answers, which you always appreciate. You get a little glimpse into what he's thinking.
Strong drinks at Camelback Ranch.
Yes, indeed.
Todd's son. So it was warm. It was warm in the desert this weekend.
Joe, son, Kim. Joe, son, Kim.
And the lady.
I don't even get it. Why would you say that?
Maybe you just don't even know. You have no idea.
I guess not.
They just don't know.
All right, when we come back, a guy who knows a lot, Sammy Levitt, joining us live from Padres Spring Training as the Padres Deep Dive Hour continues. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We've got a giveaway to do this segment, Braden. Please remind me, because I have the memory of a hummingbird.
Yes, you do.
To do the Aztecs basketball giveaway before the end of this segment. We had one, bless him, but I asked Frank to do the same thing on Friday, and he forgot. And then I forgot. And then we didn't give away the thing. We just didn't do it. So.
Didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's Sammy time. Let's get rolling. Let's head out to Padres spring training and welcome in our dear friend, Sam Levitt, joining us live from the spring training complex. How are you, Sammy?
Everything's great here. Beautiful day. Sun is shining. Getting ready for Cactus League baseball as the Padres take on the Chicago Cubs, who have made the trip from Mesa. So here around people eating lunch. Lunchroom very active. We have Jackson Merrill, Jake Cronenworth walking over to the batting cages right now, getting ready for today's game. So a lot going on. We had a backfield game, a simulated game, whatever you want to call it, with Yu Darvish, Robert Suarez, Jeremiah Estrada, all pitching in that game. So pretty active Monday here at the complex, no doubt about that.
Sammy, we were just talking about the injuries to Brian Hoeing and to Sean Reynolds. Kind of obviously, as you always need depth in that bullpen or in any position group. But what do you think that's going to entail the Padres to look at or do over the next few weeks? How serious do you think it is?
Well, I think one thing we've talked about quite a bit is that this bullpen has a lot of depth, right? And I think I can't remember if it was on this show or another show. I kept listing the 11 names of really, really quality relievers, including guys like Reynolds and Alec Jacob, who haven't been in the major leagues a ton. But listing 11 guys that you really felt were quality. And essentially there being 7 locks in that group and one open spot potentially, and I certainly would have put Brian Hoeing in that group of locks. He continues to work his way back. We'll see what the prognosis is on him in the days to come. Obviously, Sean Reynolds, he's walking around in a boot right now. It doesn't sound like the Padres know how long exactly it's going to take him to get back, but what it does mean, Annie, is it means there's opportunity for other guys, and thankfully they have a deep group. So I think about guys like Alec Jacob, who has looked really good, I've thought, on the backfield, and obviously gives you a little bit of a different look with that sidearm delivery. The pitches have a lot of movement. And another guy that I really think you should keep an eye on is Ron Marinaccio, this right-hander the Padres got in the trade with the Yankees for cash in late January. Not only, if you look at his numbers, have they been really good, and he's been effective, whether it's at AAA or at the major league level. But I know they're very high on him. I know they've been impressed by him here at spring training. So, if Hoeing or Reynolds, if they're not ready to go at the start of the year, it's going to open up opportunities for other guys. And to me, Jacob, Marinaccio, Tom Cosgrove certainly would be right at the top of that list. So we'll see what happens. But you never like injury news. The one silver lining is that it's a spot where the Padres, you feel like, are pretty deep. So hopefully they can withstand that.
Sammy, we were just talking in the last segment about Matt Waldron's appearance on Saturday. Played his post appearance interview in the Padres Deep Dive Hour. Mm-hmm. Today, Randy Vasquez gets the call. The 5th starter competition is going to be something we're all watching. But I wonder if you feel the same way in terms of I describe it as, yes, it's what they do on the mound, but also it's the decision that's been made in a coaching office before they even take the mound in terms of an internal ranking of these guys.
Sure.
And then what they do on the mound may affect those rankings or may not. But you know what I mean? If you nailed down Ruben Niebla with truth serum right now, he would tell you who he thinks is his number 5 starter.
Yeah, since I get Craig, while they may have internal rankings, and I guess it would be foolish to think that they don't, I do believe this is a very open competition. I do believe it is far from decided. I really think this is a real open with no answer yet competition. Now, each guy is very, very different, right? Matt Waldron is almost in a different bucket entirely. It was very interesting with his first start to see that he was up to 60-something% usage with the knuckleball. We know that's something that he's trying to do more, and he's in sort of a different bucket, and I think it's A, because of the knuckleball, and B, because he had a run of really good success last year. We've seen Matt Waldron be a very, very effective major league pitcher, which I would think works in his favor. Randy Vasquez, Mike Schultz talked about it a little bit today, and obviously he's on the mound against the Cubs today. Randy had obviously an up and down season, but he came back and at times looked really good. You might remember how he ended the year in Arizona with that great start. So Randy's had some flashes, certainly. And then you have Kyle Hart, who threw his first live BP the other day. I thought the pitches looked really good. Obviously comes from that little bit of a lower lefty slot. I think they're pretty high on how he's going to be able to mix and match and utilize some of the things he worked on and improved on in Korea. But, no matter who you look at, you can throw Stephen Kolek in that mix as well. I do think it's very open. I really do. And I think each of these guys has a bit of a different case right now. And I'm sure there are internal rankings. I'm sure there is a lean one way or another, this early in spring training. But it is very, very early, which is important to note, and we'll see how it plays out. Randy Vasquez gets his first crack at the Cactus League today, but look, he's somebody obviously much like Matt Waldron, the Padres are already very familiar with.
Yeah, Sammy, really scary moment yesterday with Cole Papelham taking that line drive, 102-mile-an-hour line drive to the face. I believe Mike Schultz talked about him this morning. What did he say? How's he doing?
Yeah, there were fractures. Unfortunately, it's a really, really unfortunate situation. I feel for Cole Papelham. I don't know if people realize this. I did not know this yesterday when it happened. I didn't know until maybe an hour after the game, until I got a DM about it and then looked it up. But Papelham took a comebacker. I don't know if it was the same spot or if it was the head more or the face, but he took a comebacker last year and missed a lot of time. So this is the second time it's happened to him in about a year. I don't know the exact date, so I feel horrible for him. Hope he's okay. I know everybody here at the complex is thinking of Cole Papelham. We did hear from Mike Schultz that he never lost consciousness. He was released from the hospital yesterday, but it did sound like there were fractures. So it's just horrible whenever that happens, and it's scary, and I'm wishing the best for Cole, especially because this is the second time it's happened to him in a very short amount of time, which is hard to believe. So I think everybody here is thinking about him. That was really, really, really scary yesterday, and hopefully he's doing as okay as he can be, and hopefully misses as little time as he'll miss. You feel for the kid, no doubt about that.
Sam Levitt joining us live from Padres spring training in Peoria. Padres getting ready at the top of the hour to take on the Cubbies. You can hear that webcast on Padres.com with our buddies Jesse and Tony. I saw earlier this morning you put up a great interview with Tyler Wade.
Yeah.
What would you like to share from that with the audience?
Yeah, I love talking to Tyler. He's one of my favorites, even going back to last year, to talk to, because number one, he's a great interview. Number two, he's an interesting guy to talk to because, even though he may go a week or two where you don't see him on the field, he's somebody who does have to be ready to do a lot in a game, right? Whether it's playing different positions. We saw him play the outfield at times last year, whether it's a pinch hit appearance, a pinch run appearance. I mean, we saw him score winning runs. You just never know, and I don't think he ever knows how he may impact any given game at any given time. And I thought, one of the real cool parts of that interview was Luis Arraez interrupted us. I love that he interrupted us and talked about how great of a teammate Tyler is. And we heard Mike Schultz a couple of days ago talk about how much he means as far as a culture and an energy standpoint. And it was great to hear Tyler's thoughts on Jackson Merrill. He said he knew Jackson was going to be great from the moment he met him. I guess he was right. And talk about, what made this team, a 93-win team from his perspective last year, and getting into his mindset. I think we talk a lot about, the guys on $100 million contracts and the big stars, and certainly they're important. But one of the real good things about last year's team, as you guys know, is that it was a full 26-man roster. You really felt like that every night, like they were finding different ways to win from the 26-man roster perspective and getting contributions from different people each and every night. So Tyler was great. I encourage people to go on Twitter, Instagram, check it out. I'll have more one-on-one interviews like that in the weeks to come now that the TV reporters are out of here and we're all kind of settling in. So Tyler was my first, and he's a great interview. So, unique player, and I think brings a lot to this team and inside this clubhouse. And I think if you're in the clubhouse a lot, you certainly notice that. Very close with a lot of guys, and I think he's one of the real important parts of this group right now, no doubt.
Yeah, and Sammy, his role he's looking at for this year, pretty similar to what was last year, right?
Yeah, you would think somebody who can do a little bit of everything, right? Somebody who can, come off the bench, who can make a spot start, who can pinch run. I would think so. Play all around the field. You might see him a little bit more at shortstop. Now with Xander there, when he gets a day off, that might be more of a Tyler Wade kind of standard backup spot. We've heard that a little bit already, so that's something to keep an eye on. Maybe he doesn't bounce around quite as much this year, but I would assume a pretty similar type role where he spot starts, pinch hit here and there, pinch run, kind of. He's kind of a guy who can do it all and help your team do the little things to win a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Meanwhile, you also put up a nice interview with Mike Brasso, who has a tough path, I would say, to make this team in terms of he and Eggy Rosario would probably be duplicative in terms of right-handed guys that you would be infielders off the bench. Yep. But nonetheless, what did you glean from your chat with him?
Yeah, Brasso's another interesting guy. Well, just to get to Rosario and Brasso, I agree with you, Craig. I think they would be a little duplicative, I think is the word you used. And look, Eggy, I'll tell you what, Eggy's faced a couple of right-handers, has a couple of hits. And the more I think about Eggy, the more I watch Eggy, the more I'm pretty excited about the potential if he does make this team, because we know he can rip up lefties and he can play some different spots, and especially if you can put him in left field. But I know your question was on Brasso. I'll tell you what, interesting story. I don't know if people realize, undrafted, went to Oakland University in Michigan, worked his way up, has spent a good, number of years in the major leagues. Can play some different spots on the infield, can play third, can play first, can play second base. He has played a little outfield in the past, and he's a guy who has power and has some experience, providing power for a team. So, look, if it's not, if it's not on the major league roster, then, if it's AAA and he's somebody you can dip into at some point when you need him in the season, I think he's going to make a positive impact. So, a good guy to have around, and a pretty good interview, and interesting story. And he knows some guys from the Rays, like Jay Cronenworth, pretty well. So I think he's really excited to be here. Mike Schull talked about the other day about how excited he was to just be around and be a part of the organization, and same thing with Gavin Sheets as well. So good guy, and one of the beauties of spring training is getting to know these guys and seeing how they perform.
Always appreciate you, Sammy. We'll chat back to you in a couple of days from Peoria. Thank you for providing the sights and sounds of the back lunch table there in Peoria.
In the morning when I sit back here to do Ben and Woods, pretty much there's nobody eating here or anything, and we're getting ready to do the scrum with Mike Schultz, or we're done with it. But yes, midday there's more eating, more socializing. So I'm sorry to anybody that I got in the background eating lunch, but once the interview's going, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's his choice to sit in camera range, but I can't say I've not been distracted, but we've done our best. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy.
Chat to you in a couple days.
All right. See ya. Appreciate it.
I mean, you couldn't help it when homie sat down and just dove into that salad like he had two chopsticks instead of a fork. It was like,
some of it dropped to the table. And then he ate it off the table.
Yeah, onto his lap as well. I saw him pick one off his shorts.
He's hungry.
Poor guy thinks he's eating lunch by himself.
Right.
He's eating lunch with 160 people.
He had no idea.
No idea.
We were all right there over his shoulder.
Just locked in on the guy eating the salad and not on Sammy. Hilarious.
I literally was like, I wish we could take the camera. I was like, Sam, could you just turn it just a little bit?
Yeah, too bad we don't have access to the RoboCam.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Zoom in.
Insane.
And just wait for him. Because I saw he was reading his phone at the very end. I was waiting for someone to text him like, dude, you're on the YouTube chat and they're making fun of your salad eating.
Yeah.
Not to say that I haven't, invoked the 5-second rule at some point in my life.
Right.
But, on camera,
Well, he doesn't know he's on camera.
tough scene.
Yeah, be aware. Well, he's on camera all the time. Everybody's on camera all the time.
That's true.
Yeah, there's
Never
no such
alone.
thing as private time anymore.
No.
Every time is real time. Good stuff from Sammy. Again, coming up at the top of the hour, we've got the Padres and the Cubs. We've got Randy Vasquez on the mound. And, the other thing that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is what's going on with the battle for DH/last outfielder spot. Gavin Sheets has had a good start to his spring. And a couple of doubles. His first came out. He's been getting contact on the ball. He's talking about how he got away from what got him to the big leagues the last 2 years. And God, who could imagine that the Chicago White Sox coaching staff wouldn't be able to take a guy and turn him around? The team that lost 121 games. Maybe they don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know. But Gavin Sheets feels like he's found something. He's another one of those guys where did you think he was coming in, and then does he perform to a level that really surprises you? Because there's no question there's an opening for left-handed power on this team.
Yeah, it was good to see him get those knocks on Friday. And, yeah, exactly. Good to see him kind of, tweak some things a little bit, come back, try to get his feet under him in that rhythm and contribute to the team. And he's definitely, that's one of the many competition spots that these guys have right now.
No doubt about it. But otherwise, Padres spring training, good stuff. We still have a clip we can get to of Ethan Salas. Had an RBI double in the game at Camelback against the Dodgers. DeVries played. I don't think he got any hits. I think he punched out.
That link doesn't exist.
Oh, really? Okay.
It says tweet does not exist. So, there's that.
What happened, Adam?
What was it? Was it a highlight?
It was a soundbite.
Yeah. Every time I click on it, it says it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're right. Me too. Oh, well.
Bummer.
We will move on. Here's what we're going to move on to. We actually have some new Yu Darvish sound that just got cut up. We can get to that in the second half of the program. Still don't have any Daily Schilt today. Oh, I take it back. There it is. It was just a couple hours further down. So we'll bring you the Daily Schilt coming up in our 12:20 segment. We're going to play Mind the Gap coming up as well in the 12 p.m. hour. That'll be the silly game du jour. We've got one more week on our Motley Crue Park MGM ticket giveaway. Chance to go see Motley Crue and stay in Las Vegas for a couple of nights. So we'll be doing that in the next hour as well. And at 1 o'clock, Tony Sanchez makes a repeat appearance from San Diego Punto Football. He was at Dignity Health Sports Park last night. We'll get a full report. He got the chance to talk to the players, talk to Coach Veras, talk to Tyler Heaps, so on and so forth. So we'll get a full report on San Diego FC pulling things together, beating Galaxy 2-0, our first ever 3-point Monday here on Annie and Elsten, celebrating as San Diego FC. They're not at the top of the table because they do goal differential or something, but if you pulled up the standings, you saw right there sitting in third, but one game, 3 points. As good as you can do.
Good start to the season.
Best start you can have. 2-0 away. Let's go. And yes, the Padres game is web only today. Web only. They're not going to give us just 2-hour shows the rest of the spring. Low though we may accept them if they did. So you can find that at Padres.com, and we'll keep you up to date over the second half of the show on what's going on in Peoria. 12 o'clock Sports Fix, all the news of the sports weekend right after this on The Fan. Brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving gourmet tacos for lunch or craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer for you. Now open at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park, as well as Sorrento Valley. Halfway point of our Monday get-together. Open up your salad, microwave your... Hopefully you didn't bring fish to work today.
Don't drop the salad on the table.
Yeah, pick up the salad off your lap and throw it right back into the bowl.
Don't let it tear your esophagus either.
That's right. That was the thing.
Anyways, it's time for the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. All the sports news from the weekend that was, and all the news of Monday, February 24th, 2025. Let's get things started with Annie and baseball.
Not a ton in terms of baseball news, so we'll do some random but interesting stories, hopefully. We'll start with a few moves. Free agent right-hander Trevor Gott is in agreement with the Mariners on a minor league contract with an invitation to spring training. He missed last season recovering from Tommy John, was with the Mariners and Mets in 2023. Mike Clevenger, who we talked about last week, has signed a minor league deal with... Was it a minor league deal? Yeah, on a minor league deal with the White Sox as he returns to the White Sox. I guess the White Sox intend to look at him as a relief pitcher during spring training and into the regular season. Clevenger has started 142 of his 156 career major league games, and only one of his 14 relief appearances has come during his last 6 seasons, but they are looking at him as out of the bullpen, at least for now. Speaking of the White Sox, according to The Athletic, Chicago area billionaire Justin Ishbia has dropped his pursuit of the Minnesota Twins and will instead buy more shares from other limited partners to increase his existing minority stake in the Chicago White Sox. This is a story I heard about through some people a week ago. He went all in on buying the Twins, and the Twins thought they were going to be sold by opening day, and they were super excited to have this billionaire guy buying the Twins, but he really wanted the White Sox all along. He just didn't think that Reinsdorf was going to ever sell the White Sox. So when they found out that Reinsdorf, I guess, is willing to sell in the near future, he took his interest back from the Twins, and now he's all in on the White Sox. So if you're a White Sox fan, you might have a billionaire owner taking over in just a few years. That's probably going to change quite a few things around there. And then just days after the New York Yankees amended one of the most recognizable rules in American professional sports, which was the facial hair rule, another iconic tradition for the organization will change in 2025. Following losses, the Yankees will no longer play Frank Sinatra's New York, New York as fans exit the stadium. They will play it after wins still, and they will roll through a different rotation of Sinatra songs after losses. I hope everyone feels better about that.
I did it my way.
It's critically important.
They played That's Life yesterday.
Yeah.
That's Life's a good one.
I do love that they play New York, New York after
fun.
wins. I love it. Yeah, but anyways, after losses, I guess it didn't make so much sense.
That's fine. Here's Braden.
College news, not too much to report on. This happened last week. New Miami quarterback Carson Beck and his girlfriend, Miami basketball player Hannah Cavender, had their car stolen during a home burglary Thursday night. According to multiple media outlets, the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office arrested Taekwon DeAndre Anderson and charged him with burglary of an occupied dwelling while wearing a mask, grand theft, and grand theft of a vehicle. In the arrest report cited by multiple media outlets, Beck told deputies he and Cavender were asleep when the theft happened. Beck had a Mercedes and Lamborghini stolen, and Cavender had her Range Rover stolen.
Ooh.
The report said Anderson and 3 others arrived at the home in a rented vehicle. 2 of them jumped over a concrete fence to get to the driveway where 2 of the cars were parked, gained access to the Range Rover, found the garage door opener, then went into the home to take the keys to other vehicles. Deputies found the Range Rover and Mercedes abandoned later in the day. Beck transferred to Miami in January after spending the first 4 years of his career at Georgia, while Cavender and her twin sister Haley both play for the Hurricanes. Hannah has played in 26 games this season, averaging 6.7 points per game. They own a Lamborghini, a Mercedes, and a Range Rover in Miami. Wow.
Pretty nice if you can get it.
It's great to be a college athlete.
Mm-hmm.
News on up in Linda Vista. Associate Vice President and Executive Director of Athletics Kimia Massey announced on Saturday night that Cindy Fisher will not return as head coach of the University of San Diego women's basketball program upon the conclusion of the 2024-2025 season. Fisher has led the Toreros since 2005, guiding the program to 9 postseason appearances and earning 3 West Coast Conference Coach of the Year honors, 2006, 2011, and 2019. During her tenure, Fisher led the Toreros to 6 20-win seasons and compiled an overall record of 345 and 267, including a 167 and 159 record in the West Coast Conference. Cindy has been an integral part of the USD Athletics for the past 2 decades, and we are incredibly grateful for her leadership, dedication, and impact on our women's basketball program, said Kimya Massey. We wish her the best in her next chapter. As a program, USD women's basketball has an all-time record of 634 and 638, with 1 West Coast Conference tournament title and 3 NCAA appearances. Cindy Fisher did make a statement. It is posted on the website at usdtoreros.com. We are committed to investing in the program's success. Massey added, our focus is on providing the essential resources to support our student athletes and foster an environment where they can thrive and compete at the highest level, both on and off the court. A national search for the next San Diego women's basketball head coach will be launched immediately. So some changes over at the University of San Diego. Those are the quick 2 stories I have for you in college. Here's Craig with local sports.
And I've got a lot, including the soccer from last night. So multiple highlights here for you, Braden. 3 in total in my rundown. Let's get things started with San Diego FC. They shocked the MLS world on Sunday night, had the exclusive Apple TV Plus Sunday night soccer window to themselves as LA Galaxy hosted the MLS Cup, raised a banner as the 2024 MLS Cup champions. Danish forward Anders Dreyer watched from the touchline and said, let's spoil their party. And then SDFC did exactly that. More assertive, more positive, more in control throughout a first half that nonetheless remained scoreless. Then early in the second half, it just takes a moment's inattention for a match to turn, and that's exactly what happened in the 52nd minute as the Galaxy made a whoopsie and San Diego turned it quickly and ruthlessly into a goal. Highlight number 1. It's coming. It's late. And here it comes.
What a chance! The first goal for San Diego FC! It's Anders Dreyer! It's a giveaway from the Galaxy! The expansion side pounces! And San Diego lead on opening night 1-0.
Well, one of the biggest surprises from Greg Vanney was changing the goalkeeper from McCarthy to Mitrovic, and he said that Mitrovic was brought in to be the future of the LA Galaxy, more of a modern-day goalkeeper. He's good with his feet, but this is extremely difficult for Garces to deal with. Mitrovic plays a ball from about 10 yards right into the midsection of Garces, and that's difficult to bring down. Sloppy first touch, and immediately Chucky Lozano turns around, and Dreyer scores the first goal in San Diego FC MLS history. It is 1-0 San Diego here in Carson, California.
That was Jake Zivin, our guest on Thursday, along with Taylor Twellman on Apple. 1-0 in stoppage time. Galaxy was pressing for an equalizer. San Diego FC absorbing the pressure and waiting to plunge the dagger on counter-attack. This one to put 3 points in the bank.
Cleared away by Angel. Now Dreyer into space, looking for Angel. Perfect ball to Thomas Angel. Isolated with Peck. Angel through. Dreyer! What an absolute dream night for San Diego FC! The expansion side are going to take down the defending champs! Anders Dreyer a brace! San Diego FC lead 2-0!
We can cut it there. Soak it in, though, San Diego. 2-0 is your final score. SDFC gets all 3 points. They're coming home to take on St. Louis City Soccer Club Saturday night, 7 o'clock at Snapdragon Stadium. Meanwhile, more good news for San Diego Sockers fans. Let's switch to the Wave. San Diego Wave FC announced this morning they have signed their next attacking star for 2025. Think of this as your Alex Morgan replacement, so to speak. It's Adriana Leon, acquired from Aston Villa on a 2-year contract. Adriana Leon, known as Dree in the game, is the Canadian national team leader, top scorer, number 1 forward, over 120 appearances for Canada, has appeared in the last 3 World Cups, helped lead them to the gold medal in 2020 in the Olympics, was the 2024 Gold Cup Golden Boot winner, and is Canada's all-time leading goal scorer, men's or women's. In addition to that, 19 goals in 77 appearances in the WSL in England with Aston Villa. The Wave, who we had noted in the winter, made a number of trades for international money, made a number of moves, right? They got $1 million plus for Naomi Girma. Well, they just spent some of that money to pick up Adriana Leon, who will be their number 1 attacker now this year. So
good pickup.
Yeah, very, very good pickup in between the French national team player who she teamed up with at Aston Villa and now Leon. You've got a remade front line. You've got the French like Cascarino, and then Maria Sanchez from last year. So should be a revamped and playoff hopeful San Diego Wave FC side this year in Coachella over the weekend. Speaking of Maria Sanchez, she scored in second-half stoppage time. Wave took down Bay FC 1-0. We are now less than a month away from the Wave home opener on March 22nd. Break up the Gulls. I mean, break them up. Send somebody to the NHL or something. The Gulls are red hot. San Diego has won 6 in a row, 7 out of 8. They swept the Bakersfield Condors this weekend at Rabobank Arena. Beat them 4-1 on Friday night, came back the very next night, pulled out a win in overtime, 5-4. Now, it's been a long climb, and there's still a long ways to go. But with all this winning, 6 in a row, 7 out of 8, the Gulls have climbed within 3.5 games, 7 points of a playoff spot. So not dead yet. Gulls host Calgary Wednesday night at Pechanga Arena. Also Saturday night at Pechanga Arena, the Buffalo Bandits and San Diego Seals locked lacrosse sticks. Another nip-and-tuck affair with the back-to-back defending champion Bandits. Seals almost handed Buffalo back-to-back losses, but Bandits got a goal with 4.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, held on to win 13-12. That dropped the Seals to 5-6 on the season. They have this weekend off. We'll wrap the local report with the San Diego Sockers, who hosted the Milwaukee Wave on Star Wars night, Saturday at Front Wave Arena. Sockers kept their record perfect at home, now 9-0 after a 5-3 win, powered by a 2-goal performance from Tavoy Morgan.
Checking back in with Serra. Over to Charlie. Tavoy warding off his man. Got the ball. Tavoy spins! Roofs it! Scores it! He's too much! Tavoy Morgan! 5-2! Danceroo!
Maybe not the perfect choreography for Morgan and Costa there. I think they were supposed to go back-to-back. Nonetheless, a lot of fun. That was Tony and me on CBS Sports Galazzo Network. 5-3, Sockers victorious. Lastly, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, appearing today on the Rich Eisen Show, said that the wildly popular Four Nations face-off might be a Four Nations one-off. Might be one and done.
Oh, then you won't bring it back at all? They won't bring it back at all?
Well, here's the thing. The Olympics are next year, 2026 Olympics in Milano, Cortina, Italy. That will have all NHL players. The NHL also announced earlier in the month that the World Cup of Hockey, which hasn't been held since 2016, is going to return in 2028 and every 4 years afterwards. So that means every 2 years, starting next year, there's going to be an international best-on-best tournament featuring, the world's best players. So if you've got the Olympics, off year World Cup of Hockey, off year Olympics, off year World Cup of Hockey, off year throwing 4 nations in one of those off years would mean 3 straight years of international competition. It would probably flatten the product a little bit, dilute the interest just a little bit. So what Bettman said was that this was a quick appetizer, the 4 nations face-off. And when he was asked if this was a one-off, he said he didn't know, but that, quote, this was the absolute right question. I don't have all the right answers yet. So,
well, at least it was a success, and they can hang their hat on that.
Wildly popular. Let's immediately stop doing it. Classic NHL.
That's some
Classic
MLB.
sports.
That's some MLB
Right.
level stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly. In the NBA last night, Indiana got past the Clippers 129-111. Cleveland won their 7th in a row, beat Memphis in a great game 129-123. Tonight, there are 8 games on the hard court. The Clippers continue their road trip. They are in Detroit taking on the Pistons. The Oklahoma City Thunder will take on Minnesota. Saturday night in Denver, Luka had his first 30-plus point game as the Lakers whomped the Nuggets by 22. And there it is, your 12 o'clock sports fix for Monday, February 24th, 2025. Great to have you all with us here at the midpoint of the show. Let's take a quick time out. When we come back, it's time for the Daily Schilt. What did Padres manager Mike Schilt have to say today at Padres spring training? An update on the young man, Papelem, that we heard via Sammy Levitt. We'll get all of the latest ministrations from manager Mike when we return on Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Don't forget, stay tuned at 1 o'clock. We will announce today's biggest fan and give that person a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game. You can still register your name for future weeks at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. Again, that's 973thefansd.com. 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. I mean, I could see how that could trip you up. That particular URL. That's why I repeat it. 973thefansd.com/
97 through the fan was already taken.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
93.7 in Pittsburgh.
Boom.
Sister station.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Very
the
confusing.
fan.
Right.
By the way, I just have to say that we, to my absolute lack of surprise, we have a bunch of troglodytes here at the Odyssey Palace Suite. As you guys know, a few weeks ago on the reg, Greg very kindly, was just sitting on his desk, but he gifted me this coffee cup because all the time I would look to brew a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good coffee machine here.
It's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice, and
Right.
it delivers
Makes lattes and stuff,
yeah,
too.
it delivers good coffee. So, a lot of times if I don't bring a coffee to work, I'm like pretty excited to get a coffee here, and then there's never a cup. Like there's supposed to be like a rack of like 6 to 8 coffee cups. They're always gone. They're always
They're
on.
always in the dishwasher.
In the dishwasher or
Which
on
is always
salesman's
marked,
desks.
always marked dirty.
Right.
Even though you look and I think this is clean, but I don't know.
Okay, all right. So
What's the, what do you got? Let's see. Cozy? What's the other side?
yeah, just also cozy, just red or green.
But Christmas cozy there in
yeah,
February.
Christmas cozy. Regardless, I'll have a cozy cup of coffee if I choose to have one. And then you know what I do every time, gang? I go and I wash the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wash the cup. I clean the cup. I dry the cup. Put it right back here. Now I can use it again tomorrow.
I bring my own cup.
You do. Good on
I
you.
bring the Yeti.
You do bring the Yeti.
Because I don't want to deal with looking for cups, and I don't want to deal with cleaning the cups. And with the Yeti, I can put the lid on it, and if I need a refill, I can use the coffee machine.
Yeah.
And then
smart man.
The video cameras by the sink,
Yeah, there's-
which is psychotic.
Okay.
There's a video camera also up top.
Yeah, psychotic.
All right, so
to see who washes their dishes
this
or
is
not.
what I'm getting at.
Psychotic.
Does JR even watch this camera? Because Thursday, I made myself a cozy cup, and then I went to wash, and I noticed, there's like 4 or 5 things, cups, bowls, a plate, utensils, in the sink, just unwashed, sitting there in the sink. I'm like, well, that's gross. Who just put dirty dishes in the sink and left them there? I'm sure they're coming back tomorrow to clean them. And then Friday, made myself a cozy cup. Still there. Today, make myself a cozy cup. More. There's more. Like, somebody looked at that and said, you know what? I need to add to it. There's like 12 or 13 dishes there. Why don't I add a spoon and a couple cups?
Well, with the cameras, they can go back and see who's doing that.
That's what I want to know. We're all worried about this Big Brother cam on the
yeah.
sink. I'm calling BS. I'm saying
Maybe it doesn't work.
Maybe it's unplugged. Maybe it's a false signal.
It's like putting up like a
It's the panopticon. It's like
got
a
a cardboard
the prisoner of our
cutout.
mind. You
Cardboard cutout of a highway patrol car sitting there on the freeway to get ready to
Right.
slow down.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's not real.
Sink full of cruddy dishes.
Matt, it is easy to wash your own dishes, and we do that.
That's
the
what I
camera
do.
on top of it is where you go too far.
Well, the camera seemed like, wow, police state of cleanliness.
Yeah,
but then when I
insane.
see a sink full of dirty dishes, I'm saying Odyssey Palace revolt is obviously underway. / camera is unplugged. / enforcement is lousy.
That's why I use my own stuff.
Like, I'm always looking at the camera as I'm washing the dish. Like, I washed mine. I figured there'd be a memo for the unwashed, at the end of the week.
It's the same with the fridge.
Caught you missing.
I don't know how many times I get an email a year. The fridge needs to be cleaned out. It's gross. Who leaves stuff in there? There's a lot of stuff. Who leaves stuff in there?
People aren't even here enough to leave stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
If I leave something
Wild
in
to
there,
me.
I take it out that day, which is very rare that I do bring things to the fridge. Craig doesn't bring anything.
No.
Andy doesn't bring anything.
No.
There's nobody else here.
No chance.
Except for maybe a Tuesday. So what? It's definitely Scraby. No,
Yeah,
Scraby
we get
doesn't leave
Scraby.
stuff. I mean, I've seen some nasty S in the fridge here.
Yes.
And it was like, why did you leave this?
Yes.
One of the, I don't want to throw them under the bus. They're not here anymore. But one of the morning shows long ago, that's no longer on one of the stations. They used to it was almost like their personal fridge. There's way too much stuff in there. They bring way too much stuff. I'm like, are you living here? Is this just?
Why is there a jar of pickles? Just why?
There are some interesting condiments in there for no reason. I mean, who brought the condiments? Is that for everybody? I don't really trust any of them. I'm sure most of them are expired.
Yeah, this is kind of a mini pet peeve that I can even extend to the home as well. And I'm probably the one I'm mad at myself more than anyone. But when you get
you're tread lightly, dude.
Well, when
your wife listens to this show.
This is me. I'm really blaming myself.
See, he's saying myself.
No,
but he's really calling somebody else. You know what I'm saying right now, Andy?
Right.
He's saying himself to try to save himself, but
Passive aggressively calling
that's
out
right.
the wife and the kid.
The wife and the kid, no.
The kid doesn't do anything. The kid
Well,
is
he's a
bump on
teenager.
lot.
So.
Yeah, exactly. 13 going on useless is what he is.
He turns 18, he'll be fine.
When you get, for example, you order chicken wings, right? And then it says, okay, you got to get a side of whatever, and you get the side of the ranch. And then there's some left over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Away.
Like you've dipped out half of the ranch
Throw
out of
it
that little cup.
Away.
Thank you. What is the
Throw it
point?
away.
And I'm the one who's done it more than anyone else. Literally, I'm probably the only. But you put that in there. Who is ever gonna go into the fridge and go oh, there's a half-empty used thing of ranch. Well, why don't I just use the other half?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah,
it's
no,
gross
that's a
because
big
I'll
no.
forget that if it was mine or not.
Right.
And then it'll be like, I don't know, somebody double dipped the chip.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to use your own.
I use the bottle of ranch that we already had there that I can squeeze out if I want to use the ranch.
Yeah, you're not
I do
gonna
the
trust
same
that.
thing with Mexican food places with salsa.
Mhm.
I throw it in the fridge and I'm just like, oh, maybe this would be good with egg. I'm like, I'm never going to use this.
Then you never use it, and then you
And so now I just
it
throw
out.
away the 50,000 salsas we get when you go to Mexican food places.
See,
the only time I will save one is if I have a leftover, half a burrito or something.
Yeah.
Because then it pairs well.
Yeah.
But the Mexican food salsa, that salsa lasts that day, and then the next day, throw it away.
Tops.
It ain't going to be good
Tops.
anymore. You'll get a vinegary taste. No.
This is the number
Get rid
one
of
thing I have personally done is because Gold Coast Bagels will throw in their homemade salsa, which is good, but it's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot. So they'll throw that in when I get a bacon, egg, and cheese or something, and then usually I'll take it out. I'm like, I can't put that on in the morning because then I'll have heartburn during the show or
Serious
something.
agita during the show.
Right, yes. I can't, no chance.
Where's
So
Craig
then
go?
I
He went to get some Tums.
Put it in the fridge thinking to myself, oh, well, Mitzi will use this or
Yeah.
someone. No one ever uses it. It's like a 99.94 that you will never use it and you will throw it out 6 days later,
Right.
and it's just been a
Bless
waste
you.
of space the rest of the time.
Or it gets pushed back and then you find it
Yes,
later.
Yeah.
Right. 2-month-old condiment cups.
What's that smell coming out of the fridge? Oh,
Ugh.
it's the salsa we decided to keep that we thought we were going to use for eggs, and then we never did.
Yeah, never put it on the eggs.
You're like, oh, it sounds good.
As it turned
Nah, I
out.
don't need to put that on there.
Randy Vasquez is back to his old tricks. He loaded the bases full of lefties in the first inning and then got out of it.
He did get out of it.
And then he's given up a leadoff triple in the second inning.
Guy just loves to challenge himself.
He really does. He is the absolute king of bob and weave.
Hey, Ruben, I really want to work on high leverage pitching and working out of the stretch. Do you mind if I just kind of walk a couple guys first?
Just serve up.
That's not a bad
runners
idea.
at third base.
Good idea. Yeah.
Pressure situations.
All right, let's get to a little bit of the Daily Schilt today before we load up the lines for Mind the Gap, today's silly game. What do we got from Schilty here to kick things off, Braden?
Here's the Fernando one. About him
Okay.
being sick or whatever.
Yeah, he's got the flu.
Toddy's still battling the flu. He's still battling whatever's going around, or at least in our camp a little bit. But have a lot of our camp that's on the good side of it, and he's just on that side that is going to require a little bit more recovery.
Are we to the point at all that the regulars would play like 2 days in a row? Like the guys that are in there today, probably not tomorrow.
We're not necessarily there. Manny has a chance he may go back out, DH or something, but we're not in back-to-back mode this early in camp. With now there are guys on different plans. Everybody has their own guys that are established players. We sit down, help them map out their schedule of what they need to get ready for their season. And there'll be guys that'll get on the back-to-back plan earlier than others.
What's the idea with Darvish going out, getting a couple innings in the sim game as his first sort of action?
Similar idea that we have with Dylan Cease yesterday. Most established big league pitchers, they work on some things on backfields. It can be personal preference, but in general, that's the thought process. First couple of times out, controlled environment up and down, be able to work on a few things before they get into the stadium competition.
Probably be another one for both of them then.
I don't know about Dylan, but likely for Darvish, and it could go from a simulated game to a B game.
Is the nature of this spring as opposed to the last 3 or 4 springs, but last spring where you're ramping up quickly, does that help with that?
Definitely helps with that. Absolutely, AJ. It definitely helps with that. The ability now to have sort of a condensed camp that's more in a sprint mode, it's not even a regular. Now it's been 5 years since we've had this schedule. Looks like we're going to maintain it, knock on wood. But, the volume of days, number of days, 39 days of full camp for pitchers and catchers allows that, a little longer progression.
All right, good stuff from Mike Schilt right there, including an explanation of why you don't see the top of the rotation, Annie, in these first couple games. You see the back of the rotation.
Yeah, exactly. Vasquez did just let across a run, but on a sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah. One guy on, 2 outs.
Yeah, lead triple, sac fly.
Mm-hmm.
Just gave up another hit.
Yeah.
But,
again,
Lopez.
it's like your first spring training start. You do got to get your feet under you a little.
You do. Oh, that was a little flare anyways. But, yes, left-handers are currently torturing Randy Vasquez.
Yeah,
So
he's going to have to work on that.
Oh, boy. Well, here we go again.
It's a good time to work on it and figure out what's going wrong and try to fix it.
We got one more from Schilte here before we lock up.
Opening day starter. You think he told us?
Nope.
Probably not.
Do you have an opening day?
Barry.
Come on. Yet or no?
Not yet.
Barry
We're
blew
still working through
9
a few things.
inches
Good news
from
is
Mike
we have
Schultz's face.
multiple choices. Everybody's like, is that a hard decision? No, it's a hard decision to make it, but it's good to have the hard decision because you got multiple guys that could be your number one opening day guy.
So any of the 4 are at this point?
Sir?
Any of the 4?
Yeah, I think everything's on the table.
And how's your derby for number 5 going?
Pretty well. It's early. That's an early race to handicap. We haven't, Hart's gotten here and getting acclimated through his first live the other day. Vasquez is out there today. Waldron had a nice start to his spring, a couple of days ago with 2 innings. Brito had an inning, but, we're still stretching him out a little bit. But the guys that are in that potential 5th starter bucket are still early in camp and all doing well.
And also, AJ could pull something out of the hat sometime before the end of spring training too, right?
AJ keeps rabbits in his hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and a card up his sleeve.
With Randy, a lot of stops and starts last year with AAA up and down, finished really strong. So what did you see from him in terms of his development last year?
We talk a lot about better as the game goes, series goes, season goes. And Randy's the poster child of a couple guys, but really the number one guy I felt like, especially on the pitching staff, that got better as the season went. Started out, was in our bullpen in Korea, went back down, hard decision because we like his stuff, decided organizationally he needed to go start. He accepted that, and then went out, came up, helped us, went back down, worked on things, followed the AAA staff. Credit goes to Randy. Came back up, better version of himself. It's like sometimes when you see every player's day every day, it's hard to see that improvement. And then when guys leave and they come back, and you go, oh wow, he's better with the running game. He's better with, the execution of that pitch, his game prep, whatever those combination of things are. And then at the end of the year, look to see a very poised, complete guy that looks like a major league starter.
All right. Your daily Schilt.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Barry Bloom just
God, he was
right on his shoulder.
They were almost like snout to snout.
Yeah.
Seriously. And so he asks the question, and then poor Mike has to turn away from him.
You have your
the
opening day
entire
starter yet?
time, because if he didn't turn away from him, they would be like almost kissing. They'd be so close. It would be like the.
Do you have your opening day starter yet?
Seriously, like.
No, we don't, Barry. Is the Padres?
But then someone else asks the question, and Mike turns, and Barry's like on his shoulder, like right there.
What's
like,
that meme from What's that meme from The Office where it's like Dwight Schrute and Amanda, or what's her name, Amanda?
Yeah.
Or whatever her name is. He's like sitting there, and then she like comes up close. He's like, ah! That's literally what it is.
Dude.
Barry is lurking.
Yeah. If I was
Jocelyn
Mike-
taking notes from Barry Bloom.
Seriously, if I
The
was Mike,
lurk.
I would just like smiling and looking the other way. I would just extend a stiff arm, just behind me, just like
They need like a head
you
nod
must be behind this arm.
to the PR staff. Hey, Craig. Him.
Sometimes the PR staff will say something, but Barry will just.
Barry
stay
doesn't
where he
listen
is.
to that.
Yeah.
anyway.
Very be careful how close you are. It's like specific ingredients from Barry's breakfast were available for Mike Schilt too.
Bring the masks back.
Likes to be close.
Barry, if you're going to be that close, put a mask on.
Seriously,
I don't want to smell your breakfast.
Close talking Barry is part of the fun of spring training.
Add him to the match game.
Ooh, close talking Barry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I've inspired enough characters.
You've
Yeah,
done
you do.
very
You've
well.
done well,
You've done
yeah.
very well. I think it's a major
Close
contribution.
lurking Barry.
Close lurking Barry. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, it's time for today's silly game, and the game that has hit rotation to be played twice this week is Mind the Gap, the game of multi-generational trivia, also known by one of our callers as the hard one. I really
Yes,
enjoyed that.
it is a more difficult game.
Oh, it's the hard one.
I'm sorry.
Today. So
He draws the foul.
You could have said difficult.
You
could have said difficult.
Fair enough.
That's your third foul.
Fair enough.
And he's going to be shooting free throws here soon. Or the chat. Chat's been on their best behavior.
The bench
today.
is available always.
Yeah.
The bench is a motivator.
It's waiting
There we
for
go.
ya.
Space Invader Barry.
Space Invader Barry is
I like it.
perfect. It's perfect.
Thanks, Thomas the Tank Engine. I couldn't remember. Angela's makes more sense.
833-288-0973 is our phone number. It's open right now. 833-288-0973. We need one contestant to call in to play me head-to-head. First person who can get an answer right, trivia question for boomers, Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, will be qualified to go see Motley Crue in Vegas on Odyssey coming up. So stay tuned. We play Mind the Gap next on The Fan.
Odyssey. It's got a sticker.
.1247 on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Annie and Elsten, always a pleasure to be here with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This is the time of show when we play silly games. A reminder that Motley Crue just announced a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. We're playing today for a chance to qualify to win a chance. Qualify for a chance, one drawing, to win a trip to Vegas to see Motley Crue live, including 2 tickets to the show and a hotel stay at what Jocelyn described as the swanky Park MGM. Today, it's the game of multi-generational trivia known as Mind the Gap, and today's contestant is Troy in Point Loma. Hello, Troy. Welcome to the airwaves. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. Before we play, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm from Point Loma, 24 years old, and just on my way to the gym and gave you guys a call.
All right.
All right, Troy, get a pump in.
Yeah,
Good
24.
life,
What's in what, Gen Z or
This is Gen Z.
Gen
Yeah,
Z.
I'm probably best at Gen Z.
Okay, well, Troy, that means we'll be working from opposite sides of the spectrum here today as we play Mind the Gap. Here's how the game works. Our quizmaster, Braden Suprenant, has 4 different buckets of trivia. One is Boomer. The next is Generation X. The third, Millennials. The fourth, Gen Z. You will go first, Troy, and then you and I will alternate, choosing one of those buckets of trivia. Within, there are subcategories like TV and film, headlines, slang, etc. But you're going to be given a question, and you'll look to get it right. If you get it right, you've cleared that category. If you get it wrong, and I haven't cleared that category, I have the opportunity to steal, just like you. If I get one wrong and you haven't cleared a category, you have the opportunity to steal. Last thing is you get 2 lifelines, Troy. One time you can ask Braden for help. One time you can ask Annie for help along the way. Any questions?
All right. Nope.
All right, buddy. Field's open for you. Boomer, Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z. You go first. Where would you like to go?
Let me do Gen Z music.
All right, Gen Z music. What artist released her first studio album, Sour, in 2021 that included Driver's License and Deja Vu?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes,
Olivia
I knew that one.
Rodrigo.
I was going to help you.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Nailed
Olivia's
it.
She's good.
I'm sure I've heard those songs in passing.
I might have guessed that, but
I didn't know that person existed before today.
very well done, Troy. Braden, geez, Olivia Rodrigo, she's very popular.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, she's...
Can
you
you
know
look up how
any-
many Spotify downloads she's had this year?
I'm sure
Or
she's got a lot.
yeah,
and my
she's
counter to that every time is, do you know who Eddie Rosario is? Most people not smart. I don't know who that
Absolutely.
is. Yeah, well, you're a sports guy.
Left-handed outfielder. All right, I'm gonna go. Let's just work from the other side in, like Lady and the Tramp here. I'll go Boomer.
What about the what are we doing with spaghetti here? That's
Okay,
weird.
well, sorry.
Pause.
No foul though.
Fourth foul.
Come on!
Guy's in trouble. All right, what do you want? You want to do music too?
No. Give me slang.
What actress said the famous phrase in All About Eve, fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy night?
Wow. Betty Davis. I have no idea.
It is Betty Davis.
Was it really?
wow.
I've got Betty Davis eyes today. Yes.
That was like San Diego FC's first goal of the year.
Right. A little surprised, but then I rattled the back of the net. Okay, 1-1. Troy, you got 3 categories open. Where would you like to go?
Is millennial the second
Yeah.
in this one?
Yep.
All right, I'll do millennial slang.
In the 90s, what did it mean if you said psych to someone? Psych!
Just kidding.
I tricked or fooled you.
Yeah, exactly.
Psych.
Okay, Troy's 2 for 2. I'll go to Gen X.
What are we doing here?
Let's go TV and movies or TV and film.
From
whatever it is.
1973 to 1995, who teamed up for a PBS news program named after them? The title included their last names plus the word report and later news hour.
McNeil
Yes, McNeil there.
I did not know that.
Bang.
Bang.
The McNeil-Lara News Hour later turned to the PBS News Hour. We have worked perfectly at opposite ends, Troy. You've got Boomer and Gen X left. I've got Millennial and Gen Z left. And no one can steal from the other the rest of the way. So it is your turn. Would you like Gen X or Boomer?
Gen X.
Category?
Can I do slang again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What airline slogan was "Flying the Friendly Skies"?
I'll ask Braden.
That would be United.
Yep.
Thanks.
Good use of your lifeline there, because I did not know that one.
United.
I thought for a second it might be PSA with a smile on the airplane, but it wasn't.
No,
It's
Fly the
United.
Friendly Skies, United for sure.
United.
Okay, let me do Millennial.
What do we got?
Let's try TV again.
This television show starred Kiefer Sutherland and was shown in real time.
24.
Yes.
No, I didn't know that one either.
You don't remember 24?
It's a pretty
24.
popular show.
Beep, boop, beep, boop. Like, and it, like light up, and it was each hour was 1 hour.
Oh.
And it was supposed to be 24 episodes, 24 hours.
24 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like a government, I don't know, like the beekeeper, so to speak. So he's got to go in and do the dirty things and get the job done, and torture somebody to get the information. A nuclear bomb's about to destroy L.A. in 7 hours. That was 24.
Okay.
All right, Troy, you can win it by a perfect 4 for 4 if you can take down this Boomer question. What category would you like?
I'll do slang again.
What did it mean if someone asked, "Can you dig it?" A, can you understand? B, can you embrace it? Or C, can you take my shovel? Can you dig it?
I don't know. I'll just ask Annie because I'm not confident.
What are the first two options?
A, can you understand? B, can you embrace it? C, can you take my shovel?
I mean, the A and B are pretty much kind of the same.
I think it's B.
I think it's A.
I would go with, well, you had to use the lifeline. So, Annie, are you going to go with A?
No, not if he thinks it's B.
Do
let
it,
Troy
Annie.
answer.
Do it,
Okay,
Annie.
A.
A is the correct answer.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Braden.
You're welcome.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
It's, do you understand? Can you dig
What
it?
in the Dwayne The Rock Johnson's going
Can you
on?
dig it? All right,
Can
Troy,
you
you
dig
did
that?
it, man. You went 4 for 4. You used your lifelines perfectly. Outstanding veteran play. You are in the qualifying round. Your entry is in the hopper for Vegas at the end of the month and at the end of the week. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Good job, Troy.
Stay on hold just in case we need to
Thanks,
get your
Andy.
information. I'll put you on hold right there. Hang out. Braden will take care of you during the break. And then we are back with hour number 4 of Annie and Elsten. And very much looking forward to welcoming back to the show Tony Sanchez. He was at Dignity Health Sports Park last night, down on the field, talking to the players, talking to the coaches. Full report on SDFC's historic, it's a fair word to use, 2-0 victory to open up their all-time MLS ledger. Beating the champs, beating L.A. in Carson. Gotta love it. We're back with that and more. Roll until Gwen and Chris at 2. It's Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got Tony Sanchez standing by to chat with us here as we kick off hour number 4 of Annie and Elsten. But first, it is time for today's biggest fan announcement. Is everyone ready? Francisco Castruita of San Diego. You are today's biggest fan. Francisco Castruita of San Diego, give us a call back in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973. You will qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Once again, Francisco Castruita.
Let's go, Francisco.
Got till 1:11. Give us a ring. 833-288-0973. Francisco, we're looking for a 5 for 5 week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can't have it without you.
Start us off right.
Without you, the best we can do is 4 for 5. We need more. We need 5 for 5. So that means we need you today. We need 1 for 1. And that means you, Francisco. What you got, Ann?
It does sound like it. Rod says it sounds like an Italian/Mexican restaurant. Francisco Castruita.
Where'd you go last Friday? Went to Francisco Castruita's.
Hey, you know.
Had some.
I think it'd be better with like one name. It would work
Fusion.
probably. You know, like Castruitas.
Yeah. Castruita sounds like a decent place to eat.
I'd go there.
I feel like I could eat some mole at Castruitas. Okay. Let's head out to the 97.3 The Fan hotline. It is our pleasure once again to welcome to the program the hardest working man covering soccer in the city of San Diego. He, along with Alejandro Chiva Villaseñor and Abe Zepeda, form the triumvirate. That is the staff of San Diego Punto Football, sandiego.futbol. You can check out the website. You can find them on social media. You can listen to the Two Balls and a Mic flagship podcast Monday nights at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Tony Sanchez joins us live on Annie and Elsten. What's up, Tony? How are you?
Doing good. A lot of traveling, up to 5 for Soccers, for Galaxy, SDFC. Exciting weekend of soccer here in San Diego.
It certainly was, my friend. You were there to drink it in. The atmosphere of, 25,000 or so at Dignity Health Sports Park, the pageantry of the MLS Cup being rolled out to the center touchline, the banner being raised, and then SDFC just comes in, spoils the party, and pretty much shuts off the water for the LA Galaxy attack for 95 minutes.
Yeah, and San Diego FC did exactly what they were promising that they would do, is stick to a playing style that would be able to be identified. This right to dream model that we've been hearing for 2 years from everybody who's constructing the club is being able to possess the ball and extinguish fires before they even start. And that's exactly what they did. Going up against the current reigning defending MLS Cup champions, a team that didn't lose a single home game in that championship run. San Diego FC now becomes the first team to beat them since October 21st, 2023, and is only the third expansion team to win their inaugural game in all 10 inaugural teams eligible for that category as well.
And Tony, you were there, as Craig mentioned. What was the atmosphere like? What was the crowd for SDFC like? And what might you expect it to be when they play at home this Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was fantastic. Southern California, sun was shining, 77 degrees. Beautiful out there. The Galaxy fans ready to welcome their championship team. Early, 6 hours before kickoff, they were already there. But then 12 buses, approximately 830 supporters were on that bus from San Diego and made their way over there and made their presence known. Since the moment that they stepped foot into Dignity Health Sports Park, you can see the unison. You can see those drum circles, the practices. So commend everything that the San Diego Independent Supporters Union did to be prepared. And honestly, they took it to a couple of the supporters for Galaxy, because they also have a couple of supporter groups, and also really, really showcased exactly what San Diego has to offer off the pitch in order to support that. And let me tell you, as a San Diego native, I couldn't be prouder of that performance off the pitch as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and very much looking forward to seeing how it comes together Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. Tony, we're talking to Tony Sanchez from San Diego Punto Football. And Tony, I mentioned it a little bit earlier on the show, and one thing I love about a segment like this is we can get into some stuff beyond Dreyer scoring 2 goals. Obviously, it's incredible that Dreyer scored 2 goals. But Jeppe Verskov is one of the first veterans that was added to this roster. He has been given the captain's armband. That was something that was voted on by the players, but the staff wanted Jeppe to be that captain. And the description of him as kind of the drummer of the band last night, as the guy who set the tempo. You talk about that right to dream style. You need somebody that is kind of the metronome out there to keep things positive, to keep things aggressive. And I thought Verskov was all of that last night.
100%. And you can definitely tell that, as you mentioned, that metronome, it's beating to a very odd, irregular tempo, something that isn't necessarily seen in Latin America, in European soccer even. The Scandinavian style of playing is very patient and sometimes overly patient, where it seems like they're not getting out of the same position, the same 10-5 yards with the pass, but in the back of Sverkov's mind, he's constructing and really being the puppet master to have this counterattacking style. And Jeppe Sverskov, along with Marcus Invarsen, the two Right to Dream Academy products, really showcased exactly what this style is going to be. And being that captain, that's an added responsibility to go ahead and be the one to bring the calm, to bring the structure, to bring that presence in the midfield, where he was one of 9 players debuting in MLS, which is absolutely impressive to be able to go in and once again take it 2-0 to the current champions. 9 players debuting is an incredible number.
Yeah, and Tony, they look like they were playing very much in unison. They didn't look like a team that had just started practicing together about a month or 6 weeks ago. Were you surprised at that at all? And can you speak to the hard work that had to go to get to that point for an expansion team playing their very first game?
Yeah, I mean, that's to credit of head coach Mikey Varas and the coaching staff to really be able to hone in on the skills and the strengths of the team that they've been able to construct. Obviously, they want to go ahead and have the chemistry built around a certain attacking play style, and also on defense as well. They were rewarded by that first goal by having a high press and really bugging and being a nuisance to LA Galaxy, who also proposed a similar play style. But at the end of the day, Mikey Varas was able to really highlight those strengths of his attackers and have those high pressing moments to give San Diego FC an added edge. And it seemed like there was no moment that they were tired. There was not a single moment where they were gassed. They were looked sharp. They were ready to go and in midseason form. So all credit to head coach Mikey Varas for being able to do that. And really, it's like bringing a band together. You have, like you said, the drummer with Serkov, but then you also need some accents, guitars that are out of this world. So if they're putting the band together, they got some extremely talented lead guitarist on this one.
Well, speaking of which, Tony, Chucky Lozano, of course, was able to bring down that errant touch inside the box and send it over to Dreyer for the first goal. Did not net a goal himself. Had a couple of decent chances along the way, but overall, I would say that Chucky Lozano really played well on Sunday evening in Aaron Carson, and is drawing so much attention that it might be really good news for Anders Dreyer, because if Lozano keeps drawing attention and Ingvartsen is the type of veteran center forward that knows to be right place, right time, including when to back off and not make a touch, which was huge for that first goal, seems to me like Dreyer might get all sorts of room to score.
And that's something that every single defense is on notice in MLS right now, with Dreyer on the right side and Chucky Lozano on the left. You don't need Chucky Lozano to be the goal scorer, the one to have the dozen or more goals in a season. He just needs to be that presence to draw all those players onto one side and just lob it over to the other, where you have high power offense. And Anders Dreyer can do the exact same thing on his given day, where defenses will now start paying attention to the right side a little bit more and possibly leave Chucky Lozano a little bit more space to do his own trickery and get into spaces on the left side and get Invartsen and everybody in the middle a little bit more involved. So from the left to the right, it's actually looking incredibly well. And you know, there was a lot of people who were saying that this team may end up last in the division, but if this is a sustainable model, the MLS is officially on notice that San Diego FC is here to compete.
Talking to Tony Sanchez, co-founder of San Diego Punto Football, at 8 p.m. tonight. He and Chiva and Abe will have the Two Balls and a Mic podcast live on YouTube. Let's talk about the defense, Tony, before we get into rumors and more, because I think from watching the exhibition matches in Coachella, especially the first two, the feeling was that the defense was way behind where the attack was for SDFC. Things certainly tightened up in that Red Bulls match. You wondered, did Red Bulls really have the right mix of players out there? Is this a result that we can lean on? Shutting out Galaxy, and yes, they didn't have Ricky Pooch. They didn't have another one of their key forwards. So maybe the attack for Galaxy is still taking form compared to what it'll be in the summer or the fall. But to not only shut them out, but really, other than the minutes between 80 and 90, Tony, there were very few chances at all for Galaxy over the course of the night. I thought that was the biggest, maybe most important surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you really look at it, it took one mistake to really separate these two teams from the majority of the matchup with a 1-0. And other than that, you can even argue that San Diego FC wasn't winning at that point more than LA Galaxy was losing. But on the defensive end, they were helped in a lot of ways by that strong midfield that San Diego FC has, by being able to track back and have a hard work rate. That's exactly what the midfield position is. They're the ones that run the most because they have to go box to box and help on the offensive side, help on the defensive side. But on the defensive side, every question that was asked was answered. And even though this defensive lineup is nowhere near healthy, with Negri on the left back having picked up a knock in the Coachella Valley Invitational, this team is still on its way to develop its strongest defense as possible. They have one of the best defenders still who hasn't seen a single minute in preseason, and Andres Reyes waiting to come in from the back. So everything that was asked from this defense was excellently executed, including Willie Comado, who has only had one training with the team and was asked at the end of that match to go ahead and try his best out there and help secure that clean sheet at the end of the day.
And Tony, we had seen the rumors over the weekend about Kevin De Bruyne possibly joining SDFC. What do you think the truth is to that, and when might we know more?
It seems like it's just two stars that are circling each other with San Diego FC and Kevin De Bruyne, and at some point there will be a collision, and it's going to go that way. Kevin De Bruyne is going to be leaving Manchester United after 10 years and 14 trophies, one of the most important and impactful midfielders of the modern age. So his addition to that slot for San Diego FC as in a DP spot, which they do have one left, could signal that San Diego FC is really intending to go ahead and have this be the ambition of ambitions and going for a championship right off the gate. This is a chance to have Kevin De Bruyne come in. So talks are being had. But you look at similar contracts to what happened over in Mexico with World Cup winner Sergio Ramos and the amount of money he was offered and some ridiculous clauses in his contract. He came in demanding to be captain, and he was given the captain's armband. In the beginning of this negotiation, Kevin De Bruyne was asking similar numbers to Lionel Messi, but I think now some of those expectations have settled. At this point, this is another instance where there is talks, but can it materialize here soon? It seems like there is a big chance that Kevin De Bruyne can land in San Diego.
And if that were the case, it's fair to say he would be earning a salary that would greatly exceed where Lozano is and where Dreyer is.
Yes, absolutely. He is going to be demanding of that. And to be completely honest, anything that they pay Kevin De Bruyne right now is more than likely warranted, as he can still be one of the top midfielders in any league on the global stage to this day.
What a change this year can be for San Diego soccer overall, to go from nothing to coming to now here and all of a sudden global force, like within months. Unbelievable. Everything that's happening on the pitch for San Diego FC is really exciting and is actually, to be perfectly honest, ahead of schedule. One more thing before we let you go, buddy, because we had it in the 12 o'clock sports fix today, but a major move for San Diego Wave FC today as well, acquiring from Aston Villa Adriana Leon, the Canadian number 1 striker, the number 9 for Canada. And it seems like she's going to step right into that Alex Morgan role as global scoring star up front.
Yeah, this is exactly the focal point that San Diego Wave has been missing since Morgan's departure. And even before Morgan was here, we weren't seeing the best iteration of Alex Morgan towards the end. She was scoring and netting via penalty, but that presence in the 9 slot wasn't necessarily there for San Diego Wave, where they would construct, but there was nobody to finish. And now, with Leon being here, having that European experience through Aston Villa, joining now national teammate Kaylin Sheridan, this is now being another piece into the reconstruction of San Diego Wave that's going to make this team incredibly exciting and different to watch this year from what we've seen from last year. Alongside, I want to tag on there how impressive Gia Corley has been on the center attacking mid position. The offense for San Diego Wave is going to be 10 times better than it was last year.
Super fun weekend. STFC sets the MLS world on its ear. De Bruyne potentially on the way across the pond. Tony Sanchez there to cover it all. Tony, tell everybody where they can support you and Chiva and Abe and check out all your content.
Yep, you can check out our website, sandiego.football. We have a show, as you mentioned, today, Monday, every Monday, 8 p.m. on YouTube. It is live. We talk everything soccer in San Diego. We're going to break down San Diego FC's performance, full breakdown, San Diego Wave, as well as a charity match that we have coming up. We're hosting a charity match down south in the Southway Family YMCA, so we have more information about that. So check everything out, sandiego.football.
Appreciate you, Tony. As always, talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
By real soon, I mean tomorrow evening. Soccer's overtime. He and I host Tuesdays at 6 p.m.
Reunited.
Indeed.
Yes.
And that's one soccer story we didn't get to during this segment, but that's fine.
What is the take on, is it St. Louis they're playing on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
What is the take on St. Louis? What is scouting report there?
So they're kind of an interesting tale in that they came into the league 2 years ago, Annie, and they were the number 1 seed their first year. They didn't just make the playoffs; they won the West.
Great season.
Then they lost in the first round of the playoffs, but they went through a magical,
Inaugural
like
season,
amazing inaugural season, and then last year they took a big step backwards and didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So we would like to think that St. Louis is going to be an improved side into their third year, but one that, STFC is working on a different, I think, financial class, to be honest with you, with Mansour, the Egyptian billionaire on top, and you've already got Lozano and you've already got Dreyer, and now you're talking about KDB. I mean, you're really talking about building an international roster that's worthy of going up against Inter Miami and going up against Messi and Busquets and Suarez and everyone else.
Yeah, and they don't have a cap or anything. They don't have a...
Well, you have a salary cap, but the designated players do not count against it.
And that's what he would be one of.
Yes,
right.
he would be one of the 3 designated player DP slots, and those you can spend, infinite money in those spots. So,
pretty cool.
Yeah. I tried to look at some of the MLS salary rules over the weekend, and they are complicated. They are confusing. I was told there'd be no math in this job. There is lots and lots of math. Okay, Tony Sanchez, great stuff. Appreciate it. We'll come back, hit reset on all the big topics of the show so far when we come back, and some of the stuff we missed as well. Annie and Elsten rolling toward Ask Us Anything before the top of the hour, and Gwen and Chris right here on 97.3 The Fan. Greg Elsten here for Underdog, your best place to cash in on your smart sports takes. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, an app that has over 100,000 5-stars reviewed and millions of players. If you want to win up to 1,000 times your money, you can do it with Underdog. How do you do it? You do it by playing daily fantasy sports. What does that mean? It means you pick at least 2 players from at least 2 different teams, up to 8 players. And it could be across the world of sports. You could pick someone from NHL, NBA, the Golf League, the Major Arena Soccer League, MLS, or more, and you're picking higher or lower on various stats. There's so much optionality to Underdog, so many different ways that you can play, including their streaks function, where you start with 2 guys and then you go 1 in a row up to 11. At any point, you can cash out or you can keep it riding. It's fun and it's easy to play. All you have to do is download the Underdog app and then sign up with promo code Craig. That's CRAIG. When you do, you'll claim a special offer and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Just use promo code Craig. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 124. Welcome back, everybody. What's going on at Padres spring training? Let me tell you. Oh, Pods have tied it up.
Hey.
Cubs 2, Padres 2 is the
Parade
score right now.
Planned.
Cancel the parade.
Get it planned.
That's why they play the games. Just about all of the bench dudes are in now. You get to the 4th inning of the first week.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You see all the starters walking with their
They-
bags,
they got
leaving the
their tea
dugout.
times ready to go.
Ooh, but in fact, Ron Marinaccio,
Wow,
wearing number 97,
Okay.
right-hander of the Padres, is on the mound right now. And I'd like to report that he does a mini Craig Kimbrell dangling of the arm. He leans over, bends at the waist, and dangles the arm, but he doesn't do the protracted dangle, like Kimbrell does. But it's down there. He's waggling the ball. All right, Marinaccio. Keeping an eye on that. Randy Vasquez today, 2 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. So,
Things to work on. Things to work on.
You
Against
know.
the lefties especially.
It is what it is.
You know.
Yeah, ball. Eggy Rosario, 2-run homer off Ben Brown.
All right, Eggy.
Yeah, off a right-hander at that. And that's where we land right now in this game. Solo run off of Vasquez, who walked none and struck out 2. Logan Gillespie pitched 2 innings, allowed 2 hits and 1 run, walked 2, struck out 1. Marinaccio is in now for San Diego. And, one of these things, again, we're just passing along the information. We're not making any proclamations. But SpongeBob SquarePants, Oscar Gonzalez, another hit today, another run scored today.
Right.
And so far, Oscar Gonzalez on the season, the spring, is hitting .455 with a .636 slug. He's doing quite well.
I mean, that's good. And it's, obviously, again, early in camp and et cetera, but better to have that than the alternative. Give yourself some competition there and let them know that you're here and that you want your spot.
When I mentioned Oscar Gonzalez, I should just note that this young man is not that young. He's 27 now, kind of prime of career, but was pretty. I'm looking at ESPN right now, and it's like they just zeroed out his page. So maybe I should go Baseball Reference instead. But he was actually all right a couple of years ago with the Guardians. He was, considered one of their up-and-coming prospects, as a matter of fact.
And then kind of just took a step back.
Yeah. Here, I got it now. 2022, 2.1 WAR as a 24-year-old.
Very good, yeah.
91 games, 382 plate appearances, 11 home runs, 27 doubles. So 107 hits, and he had 27 doubles, 11 home runs. So, almost 40% of his hits for extra bases.
Yeah.
Didn't really walk a lot, 15 walks to 75 Ks, but 789 OPS. Hit the huge home run in the playoffs, hit a big walk-off home run in the playoffs. Last year, just nothing happened for the guy. Down to negative 1.4 WAR, down to 54 games and 180 plate appearances, 2 homers, 214 average, 239 on base, struck out 46 times in 173 at-bats. So, a young player that had a promising year, followed by a complete nothing year, and then the Guardians couldn't find room for him. Who knows?
Looking to reignite his career, and like we've talked about, you get in a different place, you get around some different people, and clearly, if he's had success before, which he has, that could be a very good sign for him and for the Padres.
Yeah, one of those things that, just keeping our eye on it. Gonzalez, Brasso, Brandon Lockridge, Terso Ornelas, Gavin Sheets. Put these 5 guys in a box. Probably one of them emerges. No more than 2. And if Gonzalez makes the team, that means, a kid like Lockridge starts the season as probably the leadoff man for El Paso, down in AAA. So the fun thing is, I think, compared to where we were a month ago, The Padres feel like they've got a really solid team that's got some decent options on the fringe. It used to be an empty fringe. Now it's some decent options on the fringe.
And this is what is one of the great things about spring training are seeing some of these guys emerge. You never know if it's always going to translate to the big leagues, but especially a guy on a bubble, seeing him really make the case for why he should be included in the major league roster. And then kind of following the career. And look, like Jackson Merrill and Jurickson Profar had good springs last year and then went on to have good seasons. So it's not nothing when they're doing well. And it could be a sign of something good to come for the Padres when you see some of these guys step up that they haven't yet had a lot of experience with.
The 2-run homer for Eggy Rosario, though, today, that's more of what I mean, listen, guys are going to homer. It's the spring, whatever. But Rosario has to make the team. I'll just keep saying it. He has to make the team. Yeah. So if he is playing at a productive level to the point that the team is excited about his production, then he's going to be a big-time asset to this team as opposed to just a guy you've got to carry. Yeah. That makes me excited.
And you're seeing these guys, I mean, what you would want in spring training is focusing on some of the little details, focusing on some of the things that, you want them to, what they were so good at last year, really, you want them to do in the regular season that could be the difference in a game. Just good ABs, good base running, solid defense. I mean, you're starting to see some of that come together. And even though that's like, you could say that for most teams, it still means something on a team that, you don't want to give a whole lot away. You're in a tough division. We saw it with the Yankees last year in the World Series, how quickly things can fall apart when you have your own self-made mistakes. So this is a time that I know Mike Schilt and the rest of that coaching staff is going to be really pressing those details on this team, hoping to have another identity like they had last year.
All right, before we get out in this segment, Braden just dropped a couple links into the rundown. Yu Darvish spoke before his backfields appearance. He is working in a backfield game literally right now. That's something that's taking place while the Peoria Sports Complex game is taking place. Sorry, I just saw Boss Michael in the chat says dishes are in the dishwasher. No, I'm not calling you out, Mike. Was it you? Wait a second. Hang on a second. Was it you?
He said, sorry, I will make sure there are no dishes in your sink upon your arrival.
Listen, I didn't know it was yours.
I love this, Michael.
I didn't know it was you, Michael. I mean, you're the big boss here.
He gets to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could leave dishes every single day and someone else will clean them. It's cool, man. Like, it's fine. But
the smiley face at the end kills me.
Oh, yeah.
You're, are you admitting something or... Just wondering.
Plenty of coffee cups, he says. I love it, Michael.
Right,
I love it.
Good. Well, I'm gonna keep on the red Greg's cozy cup. That's just gonna hang on to that.
Look at the tape.
Good idea. Yeah.
Bring back the tape.
Yeah, check the tape.
Check the tape.
Tape don't lie. As I like to tell people.
The eye in the sky.
Probably gonna
don't
show
lie.
Michael doing the dishes, which speaks a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, not afraid to get his hands dirty, help out the station, him and Adam.
Eye in the sky don't lie.
All right, let's get a you clip out here before we get rolling. Yu Darvish talking about being on the backfields.
What do you like about kind of a normal spring and being able to build up on the backfields, pitching in those kind of environments?
ああいうところでやるとプレッシャーがないので、なんていう気持ち的には楽にできるので、はい、そうです。
When you're in an environment like that, like a sim game, there's not much pressure. So it's a little bit more free and easy, I'd say.
Having the full allotment of camp, being able 39 days or whatever it is, what does that do for your build-up?
いや焦りがやっぱりあんまり例えばちょっと調子が最初の悪かったりしてもまだ時間あるからっていう気持ち的に結構ゆっくり、体力的にもそうですけど、調整ができるっていう感じはします。
In the back of your mind, you know that you have some time. So there's a little bit of funk going on with whatever it may be. You still thinking in your mind that you have some time to fix that and move forward. Will you probably do one more of these before?
まだ監督とかとちゃんと話をしてないのでわからないですけど、また4日5日ぐらいしたらまた試合に投げるっていう。
Not sure yet. Hopefully we'll get into some kind of game action with after 4 or 5 days.
What are the ways that your spring trainings have changed in terms of how you get ready for the season at 37, 38, 39?
でもあんまり変わらないですかね。僕は若い時から10年前とかからあんまり
その感じは変わってないと思いますね。Nothing too much though. Like if I look back at maybe say 10 years ago, it's not much different from how I'm preparing right now. So
How might you do this season different? I don't know, work in between or the day of the start, anything different?
どういうふうに変えるかってことですよね。変えることがあるかも。年を取ってるので、ちょっと薬をいっぱい取らないといけない。Obviously the age is catching up a little bit, so I might have to take a lot of medication, all that good stuff.
That is a joke.
That is a joke.
You, Darvish, has the best sense of humor.
Oh my
he
gosh,
really
he does.
He does. He's
so
hilarious.
dry. And then you respect him so much, and then he's got uses translator. So you're always like, is he joking? Is he not joking?
That is a joke.
That was so funny. That is a joke.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh
best
my
part.
gosh. I'd like to clip the translator saying that is a joke and then Jeb Bush going, please clap. It's kinda good. That is a joke. You are permitted to laugh.
Yeah, Shingo Hori is his translator, and he's also pretty funny. Like, they both just have great sense of humor. So.
Oh, the twinkle in Yu's eye when he was looking at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure you're passing the funny part of this along. We got one more here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You felt just generally this spring.
今日はすごく球も走ってましたし、変化球もコントロールできたので、すごく良かったと思います。I thought it was very good in general. The fastball had some life to it. I think the off-speed stuff had some sharpness to it. So pretty happy of where I am today with the.
You, as far as the off-speed pitches, you obviously throw a lot of different off-speed pitches. How do you go about this early in spring, knowing what you want to work on in any given outing?
でも、そのスプリングトレーニングによって違いますけれども、このスプリングトレーニングは全体的にブルペンでも安定しているので、今変化球というよりも、例えばまっすぐとかそのメカニクスに今フォーカスしているという感じですね。It's a little bit different from spring training to spring training. As I told you, the off-speed stuff were coming out of my hands pretty well, but right now my focus is more fastball and then really working on my mechanics. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now.
Another rock solid interview with you, Darvish. Dude's ready. He knows what to do.
I mean, isn't that the truth? This guy has been getting himself ready for spring trainings for a long time now. And really, the Padres are just going to partner with him. Like, what does he need? What does he want to do? And then help him get that. You're not changing much at this point. You're listening to you and what helps you get in the best place that he needs to be in. And he's perfected that to a T.
Let's take our last time out. It's 1:38. When we come back, chance to welcome you to the program for a Monday edition of Ask Us Anything. All we need is for you to call the show. You've got a solid 13 minutes that you can do it between here and 1:50. 833-288-0973. Phone lines are open now. 833-288-0973. Give us a ring during the break. We'll get you queued up. We will take you on the other side. Rod reports in the chat that the messaging system is working, Braden.
All right.
So we may have some voice messages to play as well. All we ask is that you come with a question ready to ask the program on Ask Us Anything. That's how we'll wrap stuff up. And then we'll have Gwen and Chris at the top of the hour here on The Fan. So happy to report that Francisco Castruita did call in.
All right, Francisco.
He goes by his middle name on our call ID.
Oh, I get that.
It was very confusing and thus was just left on hold for a while.
What's this guy calling him for?
Yeah, this is just Julian.
That doesn't say Francisco.
Right. But nonetheless,
he wins.
You're in.
Mm-hmm.
You're
You
in.
win.
So we're now 1 for 1 for the week. We said we couldn't do it without you, Francisco. And you did it.
You did it.
You did it. Tomorrow, another full program. We'll roll from 10 to 2.
Is that from DSC? The you win sounder?
Yes,
That
it
was
is.
so- That was so
Yes,
great.
it is.
You
Exactly
win.
right.
He doesn't win anything. He just qualifies.
No, you qualify.
That's right. Darvish qualifies?
He
Who?
could if he was the biggest fan.
Who's on first?
He signed up at
I mean, his
97.3thefansd.com.
Julian in the chat. So, like, you can understand how it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Julian, Francisco.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
I will say this is probably a lot better for him at restaurants and stuff, just to say Julian.
Yeah, probably.
But either way, I'm glad he called in.
And I'm glad we've got this bumper to play. Bumper.
Major W.
Here we go. 833-288-0973. We've got a full slate of phone calls all lined up here. Let's go in the order of when you called and start things off with Johnny in Forest Ranch. Hey, Johnny, ask us anything.
Happy Monday, Annie, Craig, and Braden.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Before I get to my question, Craig, I just want to commend you on your SDFC T-shirt and your San Diego Wave cap. Looks good on you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Supporting all our clubs.
Yeah, definitely. So my question for you is, and again, soccer here in San Diego just got really exciting over the last few months, and especially with the result last night. When we get Kevin De Bruyne and with Adriana Leon going to the Wave, what do you see is going to be the season for both SDFC and for the Wave?
Thank you for the call, Johnny. Hey, if SDFC plays the way they did last night, they're going to make the playoffs, period. Like, they played like an assertive, positive club, one that would give problems to every side in MLS. So obviously that's a high bar to go win by 2 away at the defending champs and beat a team that hadn't lost at home in over a year.
Right.
So very high bar set. Exciting bar set, though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a big challenge for them. And I think most people, whether it be us or people on the station or even people on the Apple broadcast were saying, like, that was going to be a tough bar to clear, for SDFC. But they ended up doing it. And so, I mean, at this point, got to give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Absolutely. Jake asks in the chat, worst city to travel to for work?
Well, I work in broadcasting, so. Worst city I ever traveled to for work was probably Lubbock, Texas. We played Texas Tech.
I'm going to go Stockton.
Stockton's pretty bad.
I'm going to actually go Turlock, which is on the road to Stockton and was a stop for the Major Arena Soccer League for far too many years. The armpit of Stockton.
I really like Stillwater. Kind of sucks too. Stillwater, Oklahoma.
I don't know. I think I'll just say LA because of the traffic. It's very
That's
difficult
fair.
to get around there.
Here's Owen in El Cajon. Owen, what's going on? Owen, ask us anything.
Hey guys, happy Monday again to you.
Happy Monday.
Craig, that was quite the game-winning buzzer beater last week in our game. I was pretty upset about that.
Bang! You hit the 3.
Yeah, dude, bang, indeed, bang. So really quick, I heard somebody on the air yesterday, Tony and Jesse, while I was watching the spring training game, and they brought up a good little comment I want to see your guys' thoughts on. They talked about how Salas and DeVries were playing together yesterday, and they kind of mentioned that having 2 young stars playing together at the same time and going through the ranks creates a positive culture momentum and these kind of waves of great players coming through our system. So I just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts on that are.
What do you think?
I think it's great.
I think to see, is he asking about Leo and Ethan playing together?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they played in the Dominican Republic. They played in Arizona Fall League. So to see them take this step at spring training and play together, and I thought Ben Higgins had a hilarious tweet where, because Ethan Salas calls Leo the kid, and Ethan's like something like 4 months older than him or something. So, but it's so great for them to get this experience and to take the next step of like, I'm playing with these major leaguers. I can envision myself playing with them in the big leagues someday. I'll know who they are. I'll know what it was like in the clubhouse with them and what it was like on the field with them and in the dugout. I mean, that can do a lot for a guy's confidence and just makes you more hungry to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Great question,
Yeah,
Owen.
makes sense.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day. Sorry about that. Yeah, every once in a while I get one right on Fast Money. It's rare, but
the comeback.
Every once in a while I get one right.
It was a comeback, yeah.
The lovely alliterative Marcus in Menifee. Hello, Marcus. Ask us anything.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well, Marcus.
Good. Fun question today. If you could pick two of your colleagues, whether it's the morning show from your show or the afternoon show, to call an Olympic sporting event, who would it be and what sporting event? My example would be, get ready for this one,
All right.
Braden and Scraby calling table tennis.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I feel like they just get into fights the whole broadcast over who would be better.
You know,
That
Sam
worked well,
mentioned
Scraby.
that he likes figure skating. So I'm going to let Sam call figure skating.
I like that.
Yes!
That's a great call, Annie.
Oh,
Great
co-sign.
call.
My contribution.
Great
10 of 10,
call.
no notes. We're going with this final answer.
Great call.
Sam Levitt calling Olympic figure skating.
I don't think anybody can top that. That's
Nope.
the best. Moving on to the next one.
Yep, moving on. Moving straight along. Here's Jim in Chula Vista. Hi, Jim. Ask us anything.
Hey, guys. First of all, congratulations to Chucky and the boys on that victory. Okay, today's question is going to be a little bit metaphysical. Did you guys know that my cousin's Uncle Fred, and they still next door to Sky Ranch in Roswell, New Mexico, was the second person to see the wreckage, and he would describe them as they fall into the category of the gray ones. Domed heads, almond-shaped eyes, and Fred said they died with their eyes open. Went home to tell his wife. He went back in an hour and a half. Everything was gone. He said the only thing there were Army personnel. Neighbor looked at him and had his finger across his lip. And later on, the neighbor received a 1949 F-150 pickup truck, and somehow was $25,000 richer. So there's your question for today, guys. Did you know Uncle Fred was the second one to see the wreckage?
I didn't know any of that, but
What just happened?
but I think there are vortexes in Arizona that I know some people
In
want to like go
Sedona?
sit on.
Yeah, that's a big thing
I
in
don't know if this is
Sedona.
the same
Level.
conversation level, but that's my only contribution to that.
Yeah,
That
what?
was
What?
that was a unique entry. That was a unique
What?
entry right there. I don't know what to say. Here's Roberto in San Marcos. Hi, Roberto. Ask us anything.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm a little confused now with the last call.
Yeah, me
Anyway,
too, but let's just all forge
Craig.
forward.
Yeah.
My question for you is, I know it's only one game, but with us going to LA and beating them on the day they raised their banner, I know it's not enough to get a rivalry, but who do you think is going to be our rival here to go against? And I got a question for Annie is, Annie, what's something that really bothers you about people when you're out living your everyday life, like that really annoys you, maybe running errands or something?
All right, he wants a daily gripe.
Yeah, what grinds your gears?
Probably just
Yeah.
mean people, like, people that are just mean out there in the world or kind of rude, I guess. Although we've all had our moments, me included. So sometimes people are just having a bad day.
That's right.
But, I've said before, if you got a cart, return it to the station.
Okay.
Just be nice. Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it gets me annoying when people pay and take 5 minutes and have another conversation after they pay to get out the line.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm with you.
get out the line,
Yes.
especially in the morning. People trying to get to work.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Who
All
is
right,
this?
thank you,
Who is
Annie.
this right now?
Roberto.
Roberto.
Okay. Someone had I thought maybe it was Caesar. Caesar had a conversation with me the other morning.
Oh yeah.
But I was still on time. I was fine. So, but Roberto, I'm with you. It's all good.
Now I'm just refreshing my mind because I got locked into Annie's there. SDFC big win. Question was gone.
Roberto's gone.
He was asking who the rival would be.
Oh, the rival. That's right. Thank you. I feel like we're gonna split our rivalry right down the middle with Galaxy and SDF and LAFC, and it's going to come down to the first one of those clubs that pisses us off, and that there's something contentious, that there's something controversial,
Throwing the ball at the manager or something.
yeah. And if we
Aggressive throw.
if we don't get that, then we're going to default, and the Sounders are going to be our rival because San Diego and Seattle, natural geographic rivals.
Better Cup Part 2.
As we all know. All right, that's it for the show.